They said it could not be done. They said it was designed for tanks.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Talent League. Woo! Round of applause. I'm Uncooked Pasta. I'm joined by Aria, unfortunately, and we got a series for you, ladies and gentlemen. Chillwagon versus Feria de Malaga. Second place of the last season versus Titan Series Season 3 winners. They were Praetorian at the time, but Feria de Malaga. What are we saying?
I'm going to have to FDM on this one. FDM. I'm going to back FDM the whole way on this one. Not sure about yourself, but
Biased
FDM
caster?
Slightly.
Yeah, well, it is a matchup of two of the biggest in the league. I don't think that's an unfair statement to say. Obviously, especially looking towards the Chillwagon roster, we've got Grubby playing, obviously player for Team Secret in the EUL. So they've brought out the big guns for this semi-final, and it is sort of stacked up as that sort of matchup of two of the biggest teams. Now, they did play in the regular season. Obviously, both of these teams are from the Major League. And I'm trying to quickly find that result. It was a 7-1 victory to Chillwagon. And I'm pretty sure they didn't even have a Tier 1 player on that roster in that game. So potentially we might be looking at a bit of a blowout here.
Potentially could see a bit of a blowout here. But again, like yesterday, we expected IAS to come in with an absolute blowout, take two maps. That was going to be all she wrote. And then IAS are just kind of sold. They weren't playing at their best, and Goldinis just walked in and took 2 maps to 1. So overall, we cannot really write off any of these games because they're going every way.
No, so let's have a look at the map veto very quickly for you as we get into this stream. I'm going to hope they're up on the screen now. Map 1 is going to be Border, followed by Bank, and then potentially Clubhouse, should we get to that third map. What's your opinion on this sort of map veto? Because obviously we rejoiced when Oregon and Chalet were banned out first, but looking through the rest of the veto, what's your opinions on that?
Honestly, it's something that, it's kind of thrown in there every now and then. We'll just try to kind of throw it in to try to throw people off. But It's a really nice map, and it's one of those big kind of square boxy maps that you can kind of open up to your feeling, to your liking, and kind of rework it to yourself. And I generally think both these teams can do really well with that, so it'll be nice to see. And then Bank is just your, Bank standard. You can kind of run basic stuff. You don't have to expose too much of your strats, especially whoever wins this goes into the final against Goldinis, as we mentioned. So you don't really have to expose too many of your strats. You can kind of just, it's one of those best of one maps where you don't have to overexpose yourself. And then Clubhouse, self-explanatory, kind of same as Bank. Don't have to overexpose yourself, and you can just kind of waltz on through.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, looking back towards the to that matchup between Chillwagon and FDM, it was actually played on Chalet, so not a surprise to see Feria de Malaga banning it out straight away. Taking a 7-1 loss against this team on there is not necessarily what you're going to want to try and face up against yet again. And also, just a reminder for the loser of this game, it's not fully done for them. There is that third place match versus Iles Academia Spirit. That will be tomorrow before the grand final over on Saturday. So potentially coming into this, you still get some of that prize money just for getting here. €100 for fourth, 150 for third, 200 for second, and then the big one, €550 for getting that first place spot. So that's obviously where people want to be aiming, but they still have a fighting chance at any amount of money that they can win.
100%. And then we've got our, Titan series coming up too.
For sure.
That's one thing we've got to mention here. And I know, Trippin and Epsilon, they've both been working super hard to get this working with some absolute major teams. Koi, for example, big tier 1 teams. So it's definitely going to be something to watch out for. And I think Jess might be one of the casters as well, if that was mentioned earlier. So there's definitely big stuff.
She leaks it on Twitter.
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate that we didn't get to, announce it first, but that's some big things coming here for us here in Titan League.
Yeah, I have a message from the production to give a shout out to FM Abby in the Twitch chat. 50 gift subs, and also will be for the Titan series a Turkish co-streamer for that event. So if you do prefer to listen in Turkish, or you speak Turkish, you can head on down to that. You can have that experience with him. But it seems like both the teams are ready, so we'll be hopping into border in just a second here.
Get going. Let's get this going.
At this looking at this map, then thinking about those operator bans, who do you think we're going to be seeing get taken away?
Honestly, for border, I'm hoping we don't see like the Thatcher ban. That's why it kind of eluded me there for a second. But I'm hoping we don't see the Thatcher ban. I'm kind of hoping to kind of maybe see an Osa ban being brought out here, as Osa can be that quite strong operator. The shield, the impact, and overall great loadout. There's no reason not to bring an Osa in this kind of situations. So seeing her being taken out wouldn't be unusual. But a Ying going to be coming out as our first ban, and that's definitely going to be to counter something that this side of Chillwagon are going to be bringing out in their attacks. As in T1 play, we have seen Grubby use a little bit of Ying. So maybe that's the counter. Who knows? And the Dokkaebi is going to be their next ban. I don't think anyone's going to be surprised with the Dokkaebi. She's got a super high ban rate at the moment, super good operator. Taking her off the board is not unusual to be seen here.
Yeah, for sure. And another thing with Ying, especially looking at that top floor, very common to see her when teams want to sort of push over towards that office sort of side, possibly looking towards archives for maybe even a rush plant. We often see Ying. We're going to see Warden get taken away as well. That potentially allows a bit more of play from, say, a Glaz, or I was going to say Ying, but she's been banned out, but it's still going to give a lot more credence to those flashbangs, to those smoke grenades, and with operators such as Glaz and getting those sneaky plants off.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. That Warden, and actually the Solus can be taken out as well, so that's also another little bit of a plant and we can see taken off the board there as well, as a lot of teams just don't seem comfortable with the Solus yet. She's still very new into the meta, and not many teams have really had an experience to deal with her fully, so just taking her off the board can be just that quality of life change. But as we say that, we're going to head to Armory Archives for the first defense for the side of FDM. It's going to be an interesting one, Uncooked. I think we might have a long night ahead of us.
Yeah, absolutely. It is not really a shock to see us going to this top floor bomb site. It's very, very common, especially seeing the bandit in that pick phase from Dano being brought along, Azami and Valkyrie as well. Very common picks for this bomb site when you get down into it, and a smoke as well, kind of a staple of every single defensive lineup. Forever is bringing along the Oryx just to open up some of those rotations, and also we've seen Forever be quite the star player for this Feria de Malaga side, so seeing him on the Oryx, not really a shock, just going to be getting some frags and kills out on the map, just causing a nuisance to the attack of Chillwagon.
Yeah, 100%. And Oryx is one of those frag-orientated operators. Yeah, you can make your rotates and yeah, you can do all that, but you're really bringing the Oryx for the E5. Yes, it doesn't have its 1.5 anymore, but then again, you can still lurk around, you can be elusive, you can crawl through the hatches. There's just so many different things and so many different ways to get around the map as Oryx. There's really, he's one of the perfect roamers, essentially, apart from, Vigil obviously can not get spotted by drones, but Oryx definitely, to get around the map so quickly and just to get in those, elusive flanks, Oryx is definitely what you would want to be bringing here. But again, we want to see an Azami brought out. Yesterday we saw in the Goldinis matchup where Azami was one of the major issues that both teams were dealing with. So it'll be an interesting one to see if Azami will be as impactful in this matchup. But as I mentioned at the start of this map, the Osa has been pulled out. The Osa is on the board, she is being used.
Yeah, Montaigne as well. So this is sort of that very quick archives plant that we were talking about in that op veto phase. They are just holding back a little bit, but they do have the support of Malkazine on the gridlock. They've got support of Tower on the Lion as well. Just to kind of lend a bit of credibility to this plant. There are obviously options of having a Nitro below, but Jaxie's actually going to push in, get very close up towards it, but the C4 does take him down from Dano. Don't know whether that was pre-placed or thrown out, but now the Toxic Babe canisters start to come through as well. That's your Osa gone, that's the Osa shield down as well. So now smokes come through from Grubby. He does have the diffuser and is going to start to get that plant down. Rafa taking a lot of heat as well as Dexter. Overwatch on the flank forever, takes down tower, but the plant is secured. 45 seconds now on that clock as the track stingers also start to come through. Jump out, but nothing gained from it. With more track stingers, Yazami is going to provide a bit of barriers, and Bombi actually does find a kill with the impact, making it a 2 versus 5 as Rafa is starting to get this plant secured. Zora with one, it's all down to Malkazine, finds one kill, but can't kill the diffuser. That is going to be round 1, successful retake for Feria de Malaga.
Very, very successful retake, and those Yazami barriers, the bane of the Chillwagon's existence. That's what it really came down to. The picks were there, the impacts were there. Monty fell, Osa fell, and that's pretty much all she wrote. The post defuse was able to be pulled off quite successfully without any contention, really. And it just kind of slipped out of the hands of Chillwagon very, very quickly. And, I'd like to reiterate on your point that you made earlier on, saying, Chillwagon, you think they're going to run away with this, and then FDM come out and pull out a run like this? We still feeling the same?
Defenders, protect your
Say that they were. I said potentially. But yeah, it's very different. Obviously, Chalet and Border also play very differently. It's a lot further back into the season. Feria de Malaga did not necessarily get off to the best of starts to the season. Kind of brought it back, though. And especially near the end, getting a lot of success. And we've seen them already win a best of 3 earlier on this week, on Tuesday. So clearly they're doing something right. They've sort of found that sort of click, because all of these players except from Zora were actually on that Praetorian roster. Zora is actually a bit of a later addition instead of, and I'm going to see if I can try and remember the roster.
Well, you go ahead and remember that.
Tolls instead of Tolls. There you go.
The Monty has actually just been dropped. Grubby's going to head on to Liana, where he can try and get a little bit more frags on the board and try and get himself just up into those numbers. That's why that we want to see kind of I was going to say a very linear push, which I don't think is what's going to be the case here, as they're definitely going to try and look to go for a more of a vertical take. But that doesn't seem to be the case at the minute, as there is still time is ticking down. And the map control hasn't even really started to be gained yet, as they're just after using the can openers to just get a little bit of line to sight. And everyone is still outside the map with 2 minutes left on the clock uncooked. What's your opinions on this?
It seems to be a lot of horizontal pressure coming through, like you're saying. They're not really utilizing the top floor at all. You can see Zora's just kind of up here uncontested, as well as Forever. And they're really going to be able to hold down the area above the bomb. But is here inside a workshop, not able to find the kill onto Grubby. So that's a successful pick, but Rafa trades it back, dips away as well without dying. So it's now a 4 versus 4. Rafa did take a lot of damage, though, which means that health advantage is still in the favor of Chillwagon, but that timer is going to keep ticking down. Bombi, though, does take a bit of damage as well. Now that that workshop has been controlled by the attack, it is going to be such a strong position. However, they still need to be wary of that vertical play.
Yeah, that vertical play is going to be an absolute bane of their existence here if it can be executed properly. But one of those key players is taken down. You did take a lot of return damage in favour of that, but you did take down Grubby. As a set, and the grenade's gone off the board as well, so there's a little bit less utility to deal with. As the C4 is going to get thrown, it's not going to find its marker, and that shotgun is going to be in hand close on that wall. As this top floor control now is fully gained, as a wall line comes through, though, it's going to find the head, as Dexter is also going to find one onto Rafa. It's now left in a 4 versus 2 situation here, as there's still going to be one player on the top floor. Now it's a 4 versus 1 as TWR finds Bombi, and it's going to be a head. Actually, it's going to be a headshot from Forever to find onto Macklin, as finds a second beautiful headshot onto TWR, and now he's going to get get through the hatch here and just see if he can hold it at an angle here, as it's going to be refining the final 2 remaining players, as stun grenades are going to be thrown. But the site is still in the control here of the Alibi, as a shot comes through from Dexter, takes him down and puts him in an early grave, and that's going to be a round put on the board here for the Chillwagon.
The guns kind of came alive inside of this round for Chillwagon. As soon as they tried to stop going away from that sort of like pocket, more almost gimmicky sort of play, and instead played in a very border-esque style, just sort of taking gunfights and gaining necessary bits of map control and just fighting it with their guns rather than having those shields and being cautious, because Feria Malaga took advantage of that in the previous round. As soon as they were able to deal with the Ossa, deal with that sort of utility that was purposefully brought along, it kind of left them at a bit of a loss for what to do. So started this round, very stark change up, just going to just get fraggy with it. Going to see a return to bathroom tellers for FDM though, heading into this round number 3. And it's looking a little bit different. Obviously, Rafa's playing the go-yo instead of the mute. We've got Ramai as well. Forever still on that alibi, just continuing to play those more sort of frag-oriented operators. What's your take on this defensive composition? Do you think they need to change a little bit more up, or can they work with what they've got?
This is going to be a pretty hot take, but I reckon the Valkyrie gets dropped out here to bring the Azami in this situation. You have the Goyo. You just let Forever do Forever things. You let Forever just frag. That's the goal there. Goyo, useful, can slow down a plant late round. These rounds really haven't kind of got to that as yet. So maybe Goyo not as necessary, but definitely can be an absolute huge part here. And actually, we could see a bit of an early engagement there from Forever. He's not looking to try and gain those shots. Lose his life this early on. Back to the point where we were making. The 1 way on the board is needed. Smoke needed. Really, I think the Valk, if you drop off the Valk, it might be, and bring the Azami, it can cause a little bit more of a bit of a nuisance, seeing as you have the 1 way on board already, so you can kind of stop those nades. It's a bit strange. I don't think the Valk has really brought out that much utility at all. Hasn't brought that much value to the team, in my opinion. You can correct me if I'm wrong in saying that, but that's my hot take on that one anyway.
Hot takes from Aria. Let's go. That should just be a consistent segment, I feel like. Even if you're not casting, just get you in for one round, say, what's your hot take? And then you just get booted from the call again. I'd watch that.
Yeah, I think that's something that we need to bring into that league. As we say that, though, Grubby hits a nasty shot on Rafa, and a nade from below is not going to find the killing marker. And that's going to be Forever also going to lose his life in a DBNO state, as a nade from below is going to potentially finish him off, and he gets somehow away with his life unscathed, as somehow Forever is still alive. That nade gaming him. TWR has also fell in the process though, as it's still going to be Derek's from below. Forever's going to fall, and now we're left in a 3 versus 3 situation, as it's going to be the Nomad also going to fall there with a headshot from Bombi. It's all going to be left in a 2 versus 3 situation.
Yeah, still 75 seconds left to go as well, so despite Chillwagon being at this player disadvantage, it's not necessarily the nail in the coffin, especially if they're able to get this trade, make it a 2 versus 2, which indeed they do, as Jagsy takes out Bombi from long range. The 1.5x scope just coming in so handy in that situation. The nice shot acknowledged in the game chat as well. Is now the top floor, now being contested yet again. Jaxie's brought the diffuser up here, possibly a risky play, but if they can get an angle for the hatch drop, potentially a very successful maneuver. Top east stairs, it's going to be pressure, but it's Dex here from 90 who finds it. Zora now left 1 versus 2 as the information starts to come in. The Gemini clone just going to be checking. They now know where Zora is. He's taken a swing onto the double door, takes down 1, can't find the second, however. Chillwagon bring that lead up to 2. They now get their second on the board. Round 3 goes their way. They've taken the lead here, Aria.
Yeah, it looks like round 1 they were trying to go more strategy. Let's just, slow things down. But they've just kind of dialed up that aggression slightly. And now it's all guns blaring, and Dexter's just gone huge. What can we say? Dexter, that G360 is absolutely lethal. It's just, there's no stop. The bullets are just flying straight through the members of FDM, and they're just losing at the gunfights to it. Still, they're looking to stick the Valk, but we are seeing the Azami being played in. That's one thing we need to mention here, is the Azami is now going to be brought. I'm a huge fan of the Azami, if people haven't already assumed or guessed. I am a big Azami supporter. One of the best, if not the best, defender in the game at this very current second. The meta doesn't really favour the Azami that much, as, if it was back, year 5, year 6 Siege.
Can you imagine?
And we would have severe issues where, the Jaeger pre-nerf, where, it can just soak as many nades as possible. That wouldn't be the best. Nizami with pre-nerf Jaeger. Can we imagine that for just a couple of seconds to figure out how brutal that would be?
Thinking about the sort of meta at the time as well, which was just those last 20-second meta going into the utility meta, like it would just be absolute chaos, pure mayhem, and
Would be
probably very unfun.
interesting siege.
It'd be interesting siege, but probably very unfun to play against as an attacker. So yeah, maybe not. We are seeing though, obviously, looking at the way Border tends to be played, you can think of it as a very attacker-sided map, especially with these bans banning away the Warden, but Ying and Dokkaebi being taken out. Very two strong attackers on this map, so potentially an attacker-sided sort of game here. Winning that top floor kind of a given as a defender, but if you're losing Bathroom and Tellers, it's not necessarily the biggest deal. You can see 4-2 halves for the attack quite often, and it goes to overtime just because that's how Border plays sometimes.
In the process of you saying that, though, Dexter's also going to find one onto Bombi, and that's going to be your Zami taken down within the first 2 minutes of the round. That's huge. That Zami still has some barriers left that have not been utilised. That is an absolute amazing piece of utility. You're after it's taken off the board, but a C4 is going to come out, and that's going to claim the life of Grubby as well. So now we're leveled back onto an even playing field of a 4 versus 4 situation here, as these Salmons are going to actually get a breach over here in the fountain. And this could cause a little bit of an issue here, as a lot of the attackers are stacked up, but that's going to be the Valkyrie taken down, as the Tutsis were staking out a little bit too far past those filing cabinets. They will now lose their life as well. In a 4 versus 2, as TWR also finds Forever, that's going to be your heavy hitter taken in, but the beautiful headshots also going to find TWR in that refrag situation. Some shots fired through into the fountain walls, but not going to quite land. And we're all going to be left in a 3 versus 2, but still a minute 30 on the clock. That's quite some time though.
Yeah, Dano C4 down below doesn't find that kill onto the player inside of security, which is a bit of a shame, but does still have an angle here vertically. Jagsy's going to take some damage from the Toxic Babe canisters of Rafa, meaning he can't get that diffuser down just yet. About 60 points of health with Dano and Rafa both on full. The drone shot out as well, so they know where this smoke is playing. Oh, lovely shot with the SMG-11 though, is going to take down the Jaeger. He's, I'm assuming that's not a rage quit, but it might be. 50 seconds left on the clock, 2 versus 2. It's been brought back into an equal situation here. Feria de Malaga just holding on in this late round with Dano still pressuring from the main stairs. Malkazine taken very low, but Dano just dips out of the way. The Toxic Babe canisters from Rafa, potential to be thrown as Dexter was baiting the plant, but now that utility is going to come out. Dexter actually going to stick it. That's diffuser down. He didn't take any damage from it. Potentially thrown too far, Aria.
Looks like the smoke babes were a bit too far there, and that's going to be actually Dexter falling down here now in 1 versus 2 situation, as all going to be left into Malkazine here to try and clutch up, as there's still going to be 2 guns trailed onto him, as that diffuser though needs to be defused, and there's still 27 seconds on this clock. One of the players is going to manage to get across though with his life, and it's going to be the bandit swinging out. That's going to be Malkazine to fall, and that's going to be another round here on the board for the side of FDM. And as you mentioned earlier, winning the top floor site is something you really need to do. It's on this map, if you lose Bathroom Tellers, okay, yeah, fine, you lost Bathroom Tellers. It is an attacker-sided-ish map, but, losing top floor is not an ideal situation to be in.
No, absolutely not. And looking at these statistics, Border's only been played 3 times in the league so far. So whether those stats are reliable remains to be seen, but 15 of the 21 rounds played actually won by the attack. That's over 70% of rounds played won by the attackers here on Border. So yeah, potentially looking towards the sort of 4-2 splits on the attack. It certainly doesn't spell doom and gloom for Feria de Malaga, especially if they're able to get a third defense along the way somewhere. That would just be massive.
Oh, 100%. If they can get, even if it's a 3-3 split would be absolutely ideal. That would be more than plentiful for what the side of FDM needs. Even a 4-2 split, as you mentioned, is still sufficient in this case. But definitely the 3-3 would be one of the most enviable positions for them to be in here in this situation. Which I can see happening, because the round on Bathroom Tellers, Forever got pretty damn close to clutching that up.
Yeah.
That was quite a close round. So I'm not going to rule anything out here. I'm kind of gunning for a 3-3 split on this one.
Yeah, they are going to go to Bathroom and Tellers again, though, which I'm a little bit nervous about. I think if they lose here a third time, then maybe there's a possibility that you should probably look somewhere else, maybe towards Vents and Workshop, which is still a very good site in itself to defend. A lot of
Attackers need to
verticality
locate
on
and
that one
defuse as
too,
many bombs as they can.
especially holding into Armory and Armory Lockers and Archives, which is where we've seen the success from the defenders come from. So potentially, if this round doesn't go their way, they might go there. I mean, if it does go their way, then they've won here, can't play there anyway, and have to look somewhere else. So looking towards probably that Workshop and Vents site for being the tertiary. Customs and supply does not really get played at all. It just isn't that great, to be honest.
Win rate is quite low,
10 seconds left.
and ideally you can't rework it in a way that, you know, some of the other sites you can't. You can't extend too well, you can't open things up too well. It's just one of those sites that's just not an ideal
Attackers are
place to
heading
go.
out to defuse a
I
bomb.
think overall, there's not really many maps anymore that don't have workable sites. Border, unfortunately, is one of those maps that does have one of those sites.
Yeah.
But overall, most other maps nowadays, everything is kind of in a workable position, which is
Yeah, for sure.
amazing to see from the Siege devs that they've actually been able to kind of, you know, and actually with the rework of Consulate, which is highly rumored to come into comp play, which I'm expecting it to as well, to be honest.
Yeah, same.
It's going to open up a whole field of possibilities, and I genuinely cannot wait to see how it's going to be played in comp.
Attackers drop the diffuser.
Yeah, for sure. Forever, though. It's getting us started very quickly with a run out, taking out Jagby. That's the Hibana. Hard breach down straight away, and no secondary hard breach charges means that is the only opportunity to open any of these reinforcements. So, big loss for Chillwagon right off the rip. And Forever gets a second, taking out Grubby, who's not having the greatest start to this game. 2 kills and 5 deaths, which, when you've got Dexia doing what Dexia's done in this game, you don't necessarily need it. But with Forever turning up an extra gear here in round number 5, you do start to be looking towards that player, that experience that Grubby can provide to maybe start elevating Chillwagon to another level, because right now they do have a 2-player advantage and they don't even really look in too much trouble. Still half the round to go though. Chillwagon could certainly bring this one back.
Oh, it's certainly a winnable situation here, as the headshot's going to be found out onto Bombi though, as Malkazin is going to find one of his own to bring the score count, you know, just bring one of those members down a peg, and, you know, try and take man count back just a little if even possible. Smoke waves are going to ring out from Zora very early on, which is a bit of a questionable play to say the least, as it looks like Malkazin looking to try and get a little bit aggressive here on this smoke, as he's just going to chill in the corner. He's not looking to get overextending, he's not looking to get too aggressive, he's going to be chilling there uncooked.
Yeah, just complete, just kind of vibing. They're kind of sitting pretty here, although Tower does find a kill onto Rafa, and the site very quickly approached by that player, but Dano is able to shut it down. Dexia now stepping up to the plate. Malkazin is upstairs, so this is essentially a 1 versus 3 up here. Forever, though, is still also being a bit of a nuisance. Malkazin aware of that position, using the DMR of the cameras just to try and get those kills across. But 2 versus 3 Chillwagon certainly not in a great spot, especially now that Zora's taken down Malkazin. Dexia in the situation, can't even find first. Dano shuts it down, and there's that 3rd round we were talking about. Feria de Malaga now put themselves in great favor to be taking border across the way.
100%, that's your guaranteed 3-3 split. You are in an excellent position now if you're FDM. You are not going to be mad at all. You've got secured that 3rd round. You will not be at a disadvantage heading into your attacks, regardless of how the next round plays out. And ideally, that's what you need here. And Border's an attacker-heavy map, as you mentioned. It's over 70% of attackers win on their rounds.
Yeah.
So when you have a 3-3 split heading in, the odds are completely in your favor. If I was decided Chillwagon, I'd be getting a little bit scared here.
Attackers need to locate and
absolutely, they can't let this get too far though. They have to win. Like, this round number 6 is a must-win round for them, because if you get 4 defensive rounds win from FDM, it's kind of over at that point. Obviously 3-3, there's potential to bring it back, or, you know, we might just be seeing a border that's very defender-sided. We just don't know until we get into that second half. Obviously, as we all say, there's always 2 halves to a game of Siege.
100%. And one thing I've mentioned a lot in my casts before is that, you know, one team they might have an abysmal start like Grubby.
5 seconds
Grubby
to go.
is a great player. He's just
Yeah.
not having the best of games right now. But once this swap does happen and Grubby goes onto the defense, he could get completely activated, and this game could just completely flip on its head. Some players do favor the defense more than the attack, and that's just kind of personal preference. But this game is definitely not over here for Chillwagon, nor is it over for FDM.
No, absolutely not. It is going to be very difficult, though. Obviously, they do have at least this even half going in, and we're going to mention the stats again and again. However, it has only been 21 rounds played, so the reliability of the data comes into question. It's only been played 3 times. Dano nearly whiffs that kill onto Malkazine, but is able to collect 6 kills from that alibi. Forever's also playing on 6, which is absolutely huge from Feria de Malaga. When you look at the side of Chillwagon, it's a lot more spread out evenly across the team, but highest fraggers only have 4 kills, so that disparity, especially this early on in the game, is absolutely huge, and it is absolutely making a difference. Jaxi though does spot 1 player, however, again, coming into it, it's Forever. 6 kills and 3, you would absolutely favour him in this circumstance.
As you say that, though, it's going to be Zora to find one onto TWR and using that SMG-11 just to nip the headshot where it required. And the Gemini clones are going to be swinging in, though, as nades are going to be opened up. That's going to be a headshot from Grubby, finding one onto Bombi. Grubby looks to go for a second here now as he's found his opener into the round, and this is where Grubby could get his momentum back. But still, there's going to be 2 members up as they start falling back down, as those smoke blades are going to go up. Forever is still going to be lurking here in this corner, just lurking in this Serenity, just not looking to give himself up as of now. I don't think the attackers are going to be too aware of his positioning, as some shots through the floorboard are going to take a little bit of damage here onto Zora, but not just enough to take him down. And it's just going to be Forever. He's just chilling there. I don't think the attackers are aware of this Uncooked. This could be huge.
Yeah, Jaxi is going to get a drone in, as Dano does take a bit of damage from that vertical as well, but the C4 actually blows up the Honeycomb before it can be spotted, and that's going to mean Dexter gets taken down. Grubby as well, Forever with a massive double here in the mid-round. Jaxi is dropped, but can only find 1, Forever a third. I think that's 4 in the round, and what an insane play from the Oryx here, bringing Feria de Malaga across the line. 4 rounds to 2 here as we get to the side swap area.
4-2 split on your defense on border. That's unheard of. It doesn't happen in these situations.
That's like 6 major level stuff. Obviously, you know, you look at the stats, a lot more defender sided overall in pro play, right? So that's that sort of tier 1 level scoreline.
Yeah, that's what you expect. But this game, it's something that wasn't expected. You know, just the side of Chillwagon just seem to be sleeping right now. They don't seem to have their answer. You know, I'm pretty sure there was a C4 actually threw up at the point where the Gemini clones were flying in. So they didn't actually get deep into the side of archives where the Oryx was hiding. So they just didn't have the information that he was there. Kind of took it as clear, pushed in, and it ultimately just came back to bite them from not, you know, inaccurate droning and just kind of carelessness, really.
Yeah, it's very well played. The great coordination from Feria de Malaga in that situation as well, just to get that C4 onto position. I don't know whether they thought it was a player, but even still, the C4 comes up, and it means that Forever is just safe in that position. And forgive me, I misspoke. Forever only got 3 kills in the previous round. Only 3. But even still, ridiculous. We're going to see Grubby go for an aggressive play here with the spawn peak, but the free fires come through. Does not want to be a part of that. Just dips away before it gets too dangerous. Instead, goes for a run out. The much safer option.
Yeah, the much, you know, the lesser of the two. Let's just go for a run out instead. Where I might also lose my life, but let's chance it anyway. But it's not going to gain anything. No one is going to lose their life. No one's going to lose any damage. And Grubby's just going to put some of the pre-fire shots through a wall. Just, you know, kind of scare the attackers just a little. And this is, as we say that though, Grubby losing his life to Bombi as a refrag from TWR finds a beautiful headshot. Now we're leveled up once again. These vertical holes are going to be played from below, so it's going to cause a little bit of an issue here for the defense. It's going to push them out of their positions and make the map just a little bit more like a block of cheese with all those cheese holes we made. As the line scans are also going to ring at the same time, just kind of securing them into a position. But that line, not near as strong as it used to be, just will not be offering the same amount as he could potentially bring. But still, though, Malka's in here. It could cause major issues with these Azami barricades in the CC area. So flashbangs are going to rain, but not quite do anything as of now.
Dano's made his position known here. Malkasine's going to be trained on that barricade, on that window, as there's pressure from the downstairs. Malkasine does collect that kill in the end. Droned out, though. Does need to be aware of the player on the window. And indeed, Rafa gets the hop in, finds the refrag. 3 versus 3 here. Half the round gone. Dano not able to use that final lion scan utility and information lost in that engagement, but they're able to bring back the numbers. 70 seconds now on the clock. And, well, it's starting to get a little bit scary for Feria de Malaga in this situation. They don't necessarily have all of the control that they want, that they need to be able to start going for this execute. And there is actually less than a minute now as the timer continues to tick down.
Less than a minute on the clock, as you just mentioned, and there's not much gain on the map whatsoever. It's still a 3 versus 3, as you know, the members are all back in sight and they have all the angles being crossed here. As the pre-fire comes in, is going to find the window in the fountain, and Rafa's going to find one onto TWR, and that's going to be one of your key players taken down, as the smoke has now fallen, so no smoke blades will not be introduced. As Forever's looking to crouch himself in here, can he find one onto the Jaeger? As he does, and it's all going to be down here to Dexter in a 1 versus 3 situation here, as FDM look to put the 5th round here on the board, as Rafa is going to shut him down. Dexter falls, and FDM take round number 5.
This is the type of thing that we've expected from Feria de Malaga all season. Coming into the season, actually backed them to win it, and then they went off to a not great start, and I started to, well, look a little bit silly, but this is what we like to see from them. You know, they get taken down. 3 of their wins, 4 of their wins were forfeits. Actually, they didn't technically win a game throughout the entire group stage. They had 1 forfeit loss. They had 4 forfeit wins, 1 forfeit loss, an overtime loss, and a 7-1 loss to Chillwagon. So, you know, they didn't really necessarily prove themselves in that situation, but with seeing what they can do, this is the type of play that is the caliber of the Titan Series Season 3 winners. Obviously, they were playing under a different stack name. They were called Spania in that situation, but it's Praetorian is basically the thing, and Praetorian, if you've been in PC Tier 4 for a while, you will have heard their name. These guys are mighty.
Absolutely, 100%. One of the players I think we do need to mention though in this matchup is going to be Forever. Forever, 100%, you know, the elusive roam in Serenity with the Oryx. He's just letting himself just kind of hide, chill, and just taking advantage of the fact that Chillwagon just weren't running near enough effectively as what they should have been. You know, it's a little unusual for Chillwagon to kind of have such a slip up in that situation, but definitely, you know, they did take full advantage, and of course, who to take advantage of that but Forever. So definitely one of the key players to be highlighted here in this matchup. As you know, a lot of the members on the side of Chillwagon, they're just not having the best of games, as there's actually not a single member going positive at the minute.
Laura's put in a sense gadget onto the bomb site. I don't know what's going on with that, considering they've just dropped away, but that definitely went through the window. This is an interesting play. Bombi, though, finds the first and finds a second as well. Taking out Dex here. The game sense, the knowledge, the prowess from this side is unmatched, but Jaxi does take down Forever. That's your thinker gone, that's your star fragger gone, but it doesn't matter when Bombi's showing up like this. This is a Bombi that we used to know and love, and he's made a reappearance, shut down by Grubby here, but it's still a 2 versus 3 for Chillwagon, as the line scan roots the Oryx in place. Grubby has to now dip away, the pressure getting too much. TWR as well on the mute, SMG-11 in hand, not great for these long-range gunfights. Half the round now gone, half the players as well, and Feria de Malaga look like they've just picked it up another gear inside of round number 8.
Honestly, Bombi going absolutely huge, getting in the 3 opening picks that were needed, and just really putting FDM up on the upper tier here with this in this round. And actually, Grubby been a little bit just dancing as he was just bouncing around the walls, just wanting, you know, just lurking himself around. But still, the pressure needs to come in here as the attackers kind of look like they're after stalling out just a little bit here. They're not aware of where Grubby's playing, and they just seem a little bit scared here. As TWR is going to find one to Rafa, leveling up that scoreline, so now it's a 2 versus 2. And it's all going to be left down to Grubby and TWR to try and pull around back here for the side of Chillwagon. As we mentioned with the Oryx at the start of the game, that's how easy it is to roam and get back to site and everything with Oryx. He's crazy what an Oryx can do in these situations, but stun grenades are going to potentially be raining into sight here as Zora is looking to already push in, as I don't think this members on this side of Chillwagon are too aware of the positioning in. As I say that, those TWR are going to fall as Grubby finds one onto Dano, and it's going to be Grubby to find the second one, finding the headshot and putting around on the board here for Chillwagon. Grubby starting to go huge and gaining his momentum finally in.
Two players that we saw a little bit sleepy inside of that first half, really starting to awaken inside of the second. Both Bombi and Grubby having an absolutely massive round there for their teams, but Chillwagon that come out in front, and that's the sort of round that we saw being won by FDM inside of the first half. You know, that sort of I think it was a 2 versus 4 that they eventually were able to bring across the board in that situation, which is mental. But I think it was it round number 6, I think, where it was the exact same situation, just in reverse. FDM won a 2v4, and now they're on the receiving end of one. So technically, we're now balanced, or back where we should be, if you really think about it.
Yeah, 100%. You know, everyone's kind of had their 2 versus 4, you know, the 2vx situation. So we're on a level playing field once again. But still, going to be heading into round number 9 here, where we're only 1 round away from match point here for the side of FDM, which is something we do need to mention, as they're having an absolute stormer of a game. Everyone's kind of pulling their weight. We saw Bombi last round go absolutely huge, getting himself onto the board. Forever also doing massive. But last round, we saw Grubby activate. This is dangerous if you're FDM. You let Grubby activate. This could be... you know, this could come back here for Chillwagon if Grubby can stay activated and, you know, keep getting those frags on the board. But that's something we just have to wait.
Yeah, both of those players 6 and 7 now. Actually, they have the exact same scoreline, even looking at the assists as well. So it seems to be like you mentioned, those players just getting activated. And I was gonna say how Bombi used to be one of that star players, even outshining Forever back on that Praetorian roster, but now we've seen Forever take a bit more of the forefront of that sort of primary entry role. But Bombi is just stepping up another heat. Grubby, though, is just, like you mentioned, activated. Zora not too happy about that one in the chat, as it looks like a beautiful angle being held by the Oryx there. The 4 versus 5 for FDM immediately in this situation. Not ideal, as Jagsy might also be going for a run up here. Chillwagon, the aggression is paying off.
The aggression is paying off, though, as Grubby is going to find a second onto Bombi, and that's going to be one of your also key players taken off the side of FDM as well, so that's not ideal. And as I mentioned just previously, Bombi, or the side of Grubby is activated, as Forever's also going to fall to Dexter, and this round is slipping away so fast from the sides of FDM. And this game, honestly, I'm sensing overtime here, Uncooked. I'm sensing it.
Yeah, potentially, but Chillwagon, their momentum isn't stopped by FDM. They might even find a 7-5 victory here, as Grubby's found a 3rd in the round. Rafa does get 1 back, denying the thoughts by taking out Jagsy. But that's all he's going to get, as Malkazine has the hatch drop covered. The UMP is able to get it. And, well, the all chat also coming alive inside of this round has been brought back to within 1. This round potentially must win for Feria de Malaga, because if they don't, it's back even, and the momentum just going to keep on going. Ventilation workshop for Chillwagon heading into this one.
Kind of surprised we're not seeing the tactical timeout being called here for the side of FDM. You know, you're 1 round away from match point, maybe to 6-5. But in this situation, you should be calling your tactical timeout to slow down this momentum that side of Chillwagon are bringing, because their momentum right now is absolutely on fire.
Yeah, for sure. And this is starting to look like a very juicy game indeed. It started off with a bit of a stomping. We were kind of worried a little bit. Maybe Feria Malaga just completely wiped the floor with Chillwagon, but 2 halves to a game of Siege, baby, and this one heating up here in the latter stages. Regulation almost certainly going to be maxed out, potentially floating the possibility of overtime. Area, what's your prediction? What do you reckon is going to happen?
10 seconds remaining.
Honestly, I do sense an overtime in this matchup. I cannot see FDM kind of take the foot off the pedal that much.
Yeah.
But Grubby is also going insane. Those are, two sides of the same coin, really.
And Forever's got to kill him a few rounds as well.
Yeah, Forever has slowed down. Bombi's been shut down quite early as well the last 2 rounds. It looks like it's ropey. It's very, very ropey. I think that's the best way to describe how these rounds are going on the very second.
Yeah, for sure. We saw also the pulse coming quite handy, not being brought here, but in that previous round, flooding a lot of information, allowing Grubby to get those kills across the board, really enabling the team. And it's that team play that we've been seeing from both sides that are really making the difference here. The attack is having a little bit of a tougher time getting that coordination across the board, across the line, into converting it into a success, as Grubby's been droned out here inside of Armory, so they know where he's playing, but that doesn't necessarily help just because of how much of just a demon he's been, especially playing this Oryx. Absolutely insane fragger.
100% here, but the angle held here from Zora, and it looks like Grubby is aware of the angle, potentially, maybe, as he could get picked off here, as he's just going to be chilling by the corner there, by this shelving unit, and it's just kind of a little bit of a stalemate here between Grubby and Zora. No one's looking to get too aggressive. Still a minute 38 on the round. The aggression from both teams seems to be kind of dulled down back down here a little bit, Uncle. It's not the same level of aggression as we were seeing earlier on.
They're a bit more cautious from both of these teams, you could say. And well, we're seeing pre-fires, we're hearing explosions come through, impact grenades, C4 all being utilised. But it is now going to be that vertical pressure that we see being the main sort of focus. Hatch is reinforced, so it's not going to allow the Ash upstairs to get through. You need the Hibana of Rafa to try and get that kill across. And it's Grubby to take down Forever. 10 and 3 now to 10 and 6. This vertical still being opened up. Zora misses a player in the corner, but Rafa finds a trade. Taking out TWR, but Zora now downed themselves. Grubby retaking this top floor. It's Bombi to take down Malkazai. These trades going back and forth. Grubby is potentially going to get the collection here. There's a player reviving, caught out on the backside. Now 3 versus 2 made a 2 versus 2. Rafa brings it back yet again. 30 seconds left inside of this round, and it's coming to the tightest of margins. Rafa getting that plant down. Some shots through the wall. Jagsy finds a little bit of damage, but it is going to be completed. Taken down though. Dano left in a 1 versus 2. Finds the lesion. Needs to now stay away from the Oryx. Stay away from Grubby because he is dangerous, but the position spotted out on the default camera. 30 seconds left as Grubby takes the drop. He's going to be hunting for this kill. Both of these players not aware of the position of each other. He's going to be coming around this corner. He's going to be able to see through the call, through the wall, and he gets it. Grubby, another clutch on the board, and that's 5 rounds to 5. Chillwagon, they brought it back.
Chillwagon have brought this back, and if we don't see the tactical timeout being called here from FDM, they are throwing. 100% we need to see this tactical timeout to stop this momentum that Grubby has brought. I mentioned earlier on as the game split in half, Grubby needs to activate coming into the defense, and not only has he activated, he has gone nuclear in this game. He is absolutely having a mad one. And we're not seeing a tactical timeout called yet.
No.
What is happening from the side of FDM? You're on 5-5. You have just not thrown as such, but you've just lost nearly 4 rounds due to Grubby going absolutely insane and the momentum being huge. You need to slow down this momentum from Grubby. Take Grubby down, knock him down a peg, and just, slow him down. That's what's needed here in this situation. Grubby cannot be stopped at this.
Yeah, and another thing is we need to see Forever get back on that scoreboard. It feels like it's been forever.
I did say, to slow down Grubby and, stop his momentum, but I didn't mean team kill him.
I thought team damage was not possible in the prep phase. I'm pretty sure that's like a
10
thing.
seconds to go.
So
We're gonna head to a rehost.
go
5 seconds
rehost,
to
rehost 6 Siege, everyone. So yeah,
We're back.
hashtag blame tripping in the Twitch chat, everyone, because that's kind of a tradition around here at Talent League. Hashtag blame tripping in the chat.
It's not Talent League without an issue.
It's not Talent League without a tech pause. That's true. So yeah, rehost, getting back into things, and this is now 5-5.
5-5. No tack timeout being called. We saw
Yeah.
the slowdown of Grubby, but honestly, you're letting Grubby activate and you're not stopping him. Why are you not calling your tactical timeout? Slow that momentum down, even a tad. It's unusual. It's strange to see tactical timeouts not being called, but what's your hot takes on Grubby finally activating though? That's something.
Well, it's kind of what we expected from the beginning, to be honest. It was, I do have to say, though, it's been a very entertaining game so far. It's been that back and forth. We're potentially going all the way to overtime. We've definitely got all 12 rounds of regulation time. However, this momentum, now because of this rehost, might just slow down a bit, or it could just be another fire that is ignited in Grubby just to get back in the lobby and start fragging out. It's really tough to call which way these things will go.
As Grubby is one of those T1 players, though, I cannot see this being a major bit of an effect on him. He's got to come into this, with all the fire and rage that he has been bringing. Like, saying he's on fire at the minute is not accurate to how it's going. He is gone nuclear in this matchup.
Yeah.
It's nuclear level. He is just absolutely going insane, hitting those shots, and it's just crazy what he's able to pull off.
Yeah, for sure. It's honestly a masterclass at this point, and he's what's that, like 2 clutches in a row now, or at least 2 1v1s, one in the late round.
It's just
It's
had
wild.
the one. He's just getting fed the 1vx's, and he's just winning them. Some of them are. That last one shouldn't have really been in a position, but I don't think the line had the info on really where he was until it was too late, and Grubby had already got the shots off. But still, you're leaving Grubby alive in those situations. He's going to win them. You're just not going to walk away from that alive. That's just it.
Yeah, it's just simply not gonna happen. As yeah, although obviously, now that there is that pause, the adrenaline maybe starts to fade a little bit. You can get that sort of fatigue coming through. It's gonna be difficult. Obviously, thinking about 4-2 halves for the 4-2 halves for the defenders, or at least in the first half, and potentially we see that pattern again here.
Definitely an unusual pattern to see for a border, as as you mentioned, 70% of rounds are attack heavy. So seeing this level of an attacker or defender side, as we should say, is something that's out of the ordinary. It's quite unusual to see.
Yeah, for sure. It's very, very difficult for it's difficult to kind of predict how this one's going to go, because there's just so many factors coming in after this rehost. So it will be a challenge to try and find out where this one's going to go. However, thinking about that momentum coming back into it yet again, we do have, still thinking about those bans, potentially a very difficult time here. It is going to be tough to see what goes on. Obviously, Feria de Malaga have only won 1 attack so far. It's been 3 in a row from Chillwagon, and they've completed their rotation. They can go back to Armory now.
They can go back to Armory.
We look to them getting to 6, and then it's the pressures on Feria de Malaga inside of round 12 to get that across the board. Otherwise, they lose what looks like a sure thing. They were 5-2 up, and now it's got to 5-5. There needs to be something in this rehost. There needs to be some sort of discussion here, because it's just not working. It's just not working.
Something's just not happening. You're letting Grubby get too aggressive. You're not pinching him out in early enough in the round before he can actually have that impact that he is having. And just letting Grubby do his thing is just not working. You cannot let him do that in these situations. He's just lurking around with the Oryx, using the orcs to his full advantage. Again, he's just basically in serenity at the minute. He's just chilling. He's not really under that much pressure, and you're just letting him do that. You're not closing him out. He's just existing, and you're just losing because of it.
So Grubby,
Babazora,
thinking about
¿cómo
before
estás,
the
amigo?
rehost,
Relax,
it
relax.
was, I think,
Sí, me
on
la pela.
12 kills. So
¡Vamos!
we're gonna have to
¡Vamos, vamos!
We're gonna have to keep track of that
Qué
to
harta de pajeros, tío.
get across.
Es como es.
Looks like the players are a little bit angry how long it's taken to get into this matchup. Oh god.
Vamos, vamos. Obviously, you guys can't hear it at home, but yeah, they can. That's great. We know.
Okay, Grubby. Okay, Grubby.
Okay, bro.
We love Grubby. We love Grubby here.
We're back in the game. Isn't that exciting? Round number 11 now. 5 rounds to 5. And we're heading up to Armory and Lockers. It doesn't seem like we'll be getting too much of a change. Armory and Lockers, obviously, they have to go there because they'd already picked that site.
Same operators, same site, same everything. Standard with the rehost.
Yeah.
We know how it's done around here. We're not unusual to rehosts here at Dalton League. It's a common occurrence, to be fair. But we're going to hop into round number 11, where one of these teams will move to match point, and I can't see it being for the side of FDM. I see Chillwagon taking this match point first.
Yeah, absolutely. They're going to Armory. It's a very strong bomb site for sure, and yeah, it's tough. It's going to be difficult for FDM to actually to get this one across the board. To be honest, this could even be a regulation victory for Chillwagon. I don't think that's out of the question here.
5 seconds.
It's definitely not out of the question. The way Grubby has been let play, as far as I'm aware, before the rehost, he was on, I think it was 13-7, 13-8, something around those numbers.
13 kills, which is just wild.
He was just activating the defense. You give him that T5, and he just goes wild. That's just how Grubby works. I know he's not being fed like the T1 kills that he normally would be expecting to get, but still, he's being fed nonetheless, and he's going huge, and he's shutting down FDM because of it. They just don't have the reply. This round, hopefully, they can, get that Lancer in a bit more, as, he's still alive. He's still on the board, but it doesn't seem like he's been pinched out as of now.
No, just still over this top position. The first line scan comes through, going to root those defenders in place, but to be honest, there's not really any reason to do that just yet. I guess they were maybe hoping that a defender just got a little bit too aggressive, tried to move, and they have that information. But yeah, Dano using that scan very, very early on indeed, as Malkazine finds the opener, taking down Zora. That's the butt going down, not necessarily the worst in terms of utility and the gun, but still not ideal nonetheless to be losing that opening pick. And looks like Dano might come face to face with Grubby in a little while, because he is getting closer to that position, instead aggressing towards that staff room, towards the break room, as well as actually Bombi finding that trade, making it 4 versus 4. Jagsy though, instant refrag, taking out Bombi in the direct response, and TWR doubles down on it. 2 versus 4 now. Feria Malaga make it 1v4 as Dano has it all to do, does find the first, but it's looking very difficult to find any more than that. Grubby's at the end of this hallway. He's waiting for that kill to come through. The fuse has surrendered. Dano does not have it in his grasp. Now he's going to be going aggressive, trying to take down the Yorick, instead just dipping in towards the office. They're going left and right, and it's Grubby who finds it. Chillwagon, 6 rounds, map point, and they could get their own map pick of border across the board here. Round number 12 coming up.
Round 12, this is the make or break here for the side of FDM. You are up 5 rounds to 2, and now you're about to lose the map 6-5. Yeah. This is really where a tactical timeout needs to be called. We've mentioned this so many times, we're going red in the face from saying tactical timeout here, but it's just not happening. I'm not sure if they're forgetting that it exists or something. I'm not too sure what's happening here, but this has gone into round number 12. You're on match point. You still haven't called your tactical.
No.
If you're FDM, there are severe question marks
Defenders,
above your head
protect
right now.
bombs from being defused by attackers.
It's something else to say the least, as Grubby for one has gone huge, and we actually saw, I think it was Jagsy going huge as well there last round. So it's just a game of who's going to go massive for the side of Chillwagon, and FDM just not having a response.
No, forever now. I believe overall 10-7. That's 4 deaths in a row without getting a single kill. Because obviously it was 10-3 at the end of the half. I don't think he's actually got a kill this entire half, Aria, which
5
is
seconds left
ludicrous,
before
right?
insertion.
That's insane. So slowing down on the attack
Attackers are
right when
heading out to
FDM
defuse the
need
bomb.
it the most, and Bombi and Dano just cannot keep up with this. We've got a very different composition though. Bring along IQ, Bombi back on the Nook as well. Rafa heading towards those more hard reach duties that we've seen from him in the past, historically.
Taking point.
It's a bit of a change of form, bit of a switch up, trying to just claw their way to overtime.
The FDM need to put in an absolute, heroic round here to try and even get to pull this back into the OT. As not only have you just lost 4 rounds back to back, you also now are at the mental disadvantage. As I say that though, Jagsy Gunners is going to be the first opening frag here on the board. As a little bit of pixel here from Grubby, not going to be able to quite find anyone. And now it's a 4 versus 5. Make that a 3 versus 5, as Dano is going to find one to Grubby. And that's going to be your heaviest hitter on the side of Chillwagon taken down. This is the round where FDM need to win. You've taken down 2 of the bigger fraggers on your opponent's team. You need to take this. As I say, that third is going to be onto the board here as Capcan, as Bombi finds one onto Dexter. And now we're left in a 2 versus 5. Still almost 2 minutes on the clock. Quite a fast round here, quite fast paced, and a lot of action going on here to say the least, as all going to be left down to TWR and Malkazin in this situation.
Zora took a bit of a damage from those Capcan traps, so from Dex here, it's a 1 versus 5 though from TWR. Flawless round possible to take it into that OT situation. Half the round still yet to go. This Rafa's starting to get the diffuser planted. TWR goes hunting, finds Dano, denying the Flawless, and Zora goes down as well. But his first kill in the half, but no, Bombi shuts it down. Overtime, we do indeed get there. And well, what a game we've got for us. At least 2 more rounds, potentially even 3. Border does not want to go just yet, Aria. We've still got more action.
We've still got more border left in us. We're not gonna be leaving this beautiful map just as of now. Both teams are, they're enjoying their little bit of a stay here on the scenic sides of border, which you can't blame them really. Just really wanted to toy around with us. FDM the last 5-ish rounds weren't amazing, and then they just come out with that round, taking them Grubby very early on and Jagsy for an opening pick. Huge, absolutely huge. And as a result of that, they do put the number on the board, bringing themselves to 6-6. And it looks like they made me eat my words. They didn't need the tactical timeout in the end.
Yeah, the rehost kind of just serving as that buffer that they needed, and they're back on the defense here, Aria. 4-2 halves for the defense both times. You're looking towards this, you potentially give Feria de Malaga the advantage in this situation. Obviously, they picked the start on defense first off, and well, they've been granted this opportunity again to potentially bring this map across the board just because of the side swap.
Yeah, as it's a heavy defense border, which is kind of an odd thing to say. It's not something we're typically used to saying. Border is not one of those maps known for its defender sidedness. No. So, it's been a 4-2 split for defense both sides, which is super odd. It's a very rare occurrence. It's lovely to see though. It means border has changed up a little. Both teams, they're able to kind of adapt to it where they can, and a little bit of a spawn peek from the main door, not going to quite net anything. Just kind of scare the attackers just a little, put some fear of life into them. And just the drone game, hopefully, it'll be a little bit stronger this time. We don't see two, Left Forever go unhidden.
Yeah, he's just getting around the map, zipping around on the Oryx, taking some damage though from dashing through those walls. So there's obviously one of the drawbacks from playing this operator, but we can see those rotations come through yet again, just dipping themselves up the hatch, getting into this offensive position and potentially falling back closer to the bomb site just to lend assistance elsewhere, making it very easy for FDM to get that maneuverability. However, Liquid Wall has been opened up by the ace of TWR. First positive phase used by the smoke. That will be Rafa. Again, we're seeing this early utility usage by FDM when it comes to the defense. C4 out over the top. Grubby's down to about 5 HP. But it's not going to be enough. Zora, though, takes a swing, taking out Dexter. TWR and Malkstein, though, do not let it go unpunished. It's now 3 versus 4. Feria Malaga are on the back foot here with half the round still yet to go. That utility still in place. Grubby with that Talon 8 shield is still going to be alive and kicking. Another in the pocket as well. And it's going to mean that an execute could potentially be very viable for the side of Chillwagon here.
As you say that, the breach is going to get opened into the office area, so that means they have another line of sight as well, so they're not going to be pinched into one door. Those also shields are going to get placed as well, so they're going to cause a severe amount of problems. Grubby, yes, he's on low HP, but those shields are still going to be alive and kicking, regardless of whether Grubby is dead from now or not. But saying that, shots are going to be fired through the SMG-11 in Rafa's hand, and we should see the smoke waves being used here very, very shortly. STWR is going to find another on to Dano. And this is just falling away from FDM, as Forever is going to find his first frag in about 7 rounds. As a nade's going to come through. Shotgun in hand here, though, is not going to find anyone as of now. As a swing comes through, is a beautiful shot through the wall, finds Jagsy. And now it's going to be left in a 2 versus 2 situation. Still 30 seconds on the clock, and a late round execute is what we should be seeing here, as that diffuser should be going down very, very shortly. But if you're in a situation here, as a shotgun is going to find one onto Grubby, and it's all going to be left to TWR in this 1 versus 2 situation. Another 1vx coming up here potentially for the side of Chillwagon, as these 1vx's are looking very, very winnable. But this situation, he's got pinched, no diffuser, and a shotgun is going to send him to an early grave, and that's going to be FDM taking the first round of OT. Potentially could be putting them on the upper hand here to take the map. Who knows?
Another 2v4 as well. Another 2 versus 4 being won out by the disadvantaged team here. And it's map point. FDM potentially taking their opponent's map pick here. Obviously, we still have this round to play, potentially round 15 as well. But Chillwagon need these next 2 in a row. They're going to start it out with a defense of Bathroom and Tellers.
Bathroom Tellers is one of those sites that isn't the best, but it also can. It's probably one of the higher defense rate in maps, or objectives to go to say the least. As you know, you can extend out so much from Bathroom Tellers and really just kind of slow down the attackers, but by doing that you're also leaving yourself really spread out and thin, and it only takes 1 or 2 frags for you to be able to actually take sight and get that diffuser down. So this site is a very, very 50-50 one in some situations. So ideally I wouldn't be going here for my first bomb site, if I was a round down. But then again, it could work out in their favor.
Yeah, it very much could just sort of catch the attack off guard. But we are seeing, because of the attacker repick feature, it's been in quite a while, that sort of strategy is less effective. There's 4 out of the 5 players from FDM switch up their attacker and see Dano bring along a brother for, I believe, the first time inside of this game. Very, very useful, especially when she's unexpected. Just going to be taking down that utility, bringing it for the attack instead. And, well, the camera, obviously, the gadget needs line of sight. It is a bit of a funky one in that way. First drone taken out. But still, default cam is now available for the attackers to use on the side of top east, at least until the defenders take it out themselves. So, again, it's useful to at least give yourself some information, or at least get the attackers to remove some of what could have been their own.
Yeah, 100%. Still, the angles being held here, though, as Forever looking to see if anyone's going to swing crossfires. The TWR taking a little bit of damage, but not going to put enough to take him down. As the round is kind of slowing down quite a bit, as these rounds have kind of gone up. There's someone's turning the dial up and down completely the whole time. Will we have a full aggression? We'll go for a little bit of aggression. Full aggression again. but a C4 may be getting thrown here, as this top floor is now going to be under the control of the attackers, as the vertical should be opened up very, very soon. But we're still in the 5 versus 5, still minute 44 on the clock, and there's not a whole lot happening right here now.
Rafa has been downed by C4, but is able to be picked back up, obviously, because only down but not out, not actually going to be taken out fully. So the revive will be coming through. That's just Bombi going to pick that one up there.
Attackers
all the
recovered the
defenders
diffuser.
on the bottom floor. No sort of Oryx in play, instead Grubby still with the T5, but opting for the Legion instead. So those rotations are going to be a lot more difficult for the defense. However, with 70 seconds left in the round, it needs to be the attack that stops. Indeed, that's what they do. As Rafa finds one, but kills start coming back the other way. As it's a 4 versus 2 now. FDM again in the 2v4. Baba Zora brings it back, but TWR makes it a 1 versus 3. This one looks like we should be going all the way. All 15 rounds on the board here, unless Zora can find an insane clutch, can come up something massive, and they can't even get one. TWR shuts it down. Successful defense for Chillwagon on Bathroom and Tellers, and indeed, we are going all the way. All 15 rounds, we wouldn't have it any other way.
15 full action-packed rounds of Siege. We do love to see it here. And the side of FDM going onto defense, very favourable to say the least.
Yeah.
But still, Chillwagon, it's still a 4-2 split is what we were seeing from the for the attacks. And that's, there's still the off chance that, out of those 2 rounds, you can win one of your overtime rounds on attack.
Yeah.
Attackers need to locate
But those odds are low.
many bombs
If I was on the side of Chillwagon here, I'd be kind of a little bit on ice, to be honest.
However, we've seen them actually win 2 attacks on this bomb site. And it's been a hot minute since FDM have defended down here, so they might just be a little bit rusty. Chillwagon could actually find a win on this site. It's happened twice before. Yeah, they lost it once on the attack, but they technically still have a 2/3 record here, so still looking rather possible actually for either team to take it inside of this round 15. It's on a knife set, and with it being this maximum overtime, that's kind of the scariest position for both teams. That's when mistakes are going to be at the forefront, because it is that very terrifying situation. Both of these teams want to be getting this round on the board because they want to be winning this map. Simple as.
Both teams want to win this map, and pretty much the last 14 rounds mean nothing right now. They mean nothing, as everything is all going to come down to this razor wire of a final round to try and close things up here. As we do enter the final round of Border, unfortunately, we will have to leave. We'll have to evacuate the area with helicopter very, very shortly to go on to map number 2. But we still have 2 minutes 23 left in this matchup at a minimum, unless the diffuser can go down. And it's just all going to be drone game here, as the castle barricade is actually going to keep Bombi safe there for a minute. That's actually a nice kind of castle barricade to kind of point out, as that is actually going to get popped open. C4 is going to swing. It's not going to find its marker, but there's quite a lot of members there, so if Bombi gets aggressive, he could potentially find one, as a member is going to run across. That's going to be the Yana clone, and it's just going to be a little bit of a choke here on that door, as it's going to be Jagsy finding one onto Bombi, as TWR also finds one of his own onto Forever, and those are your 2 heavy hitters taken off the board. 5 versus 3, as the attackers are looking very enviable.
Yeah, almost calamity here in the early round for FDM as we start to transition to that sort of mid-round period. Zora and Rafa are able to get a bit of damage, but Rafa taken out by Grubby. So 2 versus 4, yet again the third one of these situations in overtime, and it's falling apart for FDM. Chillwagon in a 4 versus 1 have the opportunity to take their map, to bring this one across the line in the final moment. C4 out from Dano, doesn't find its mark, it's shot out, and the shots are whiffed from the cap can. He's gonna get taken down by Malkazin. 8 rounds to 7, and it's Chillwagon who get their final attack on the board, who get the map win. It is close, but the Poles find their way here. Border 8-7. Aria, what do you make of this one?
That last round just fell apart for FCM so quick. Just broken-hearted FDM looked so good, so good. Just couldn't bring it back, and that's just it's an unfortunate one. I love FDM, but that was just a bit of a throw, to say the least. Very much a throw.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no other way of putting it. It was a throw. And they're going to be, honestly, quite mad with themselves. They didn't get that one across the line. But obviously, if you pick into a map, you're going to feel fairly confident on it. And it went to maximum overtime. So potentially, there's a bit of a way in there for FDM on their own map pick of Bank to be feeling quite comfortable. You know, Border didn't go their way, but it was very, very close. Their opponent's map pick. Now they're going into their territory where they chose to bring the series. We might just see them playing on another level on Bank.
Hopefully that's what we see. But again, Bank is one of those 50-50 maps as well. So I'm a little bit stressed here for the side of FDM. My brain just shut down there for a second.
So
it happens.
It happens to the best of us. Yeah, it's gonna be Bank coming up after this very quick break. Don't go anywhere because you do not want to miss map 2 of this series. If map 1 was anything to go by, it will be a banger. We'll see you in 5 to 10 minutes.
Agents are going to be the teachers for today as another one comes in. There's going to be Dins with another frag onto Chep. A 3v5 situation as a refrag comes in, but another one from Django. They just can't stop the roll. They can easily go for the plant, and so they will. He's going to have to do a bit of a flank, and which stairs will he take? Will it be Astro or Red? And it seems like Red will be the choice. I mean, Sledge right now watching a bit of a flank. He actually gets two with a C4. This is possible. This is very much possible. He gets on the peak. He's on the tippy toes. He can be right now.
Now they're just going to wait for these attackers to try to come through the map there. Another engagement is found. Krogel is dealt with at the top of the balcony. And yep, just waiting for the player to come in from Fountain, and the swing does come through, and the Jaeger is spotted in the corner, so they do have the information of where that player is. Just takes the gunfight though, wins it out. Gecko's dealt with the side of Archives, and now they have the full of Archives to get in and get a plant down if they do want to get that, but still, they have to deal with these players in side of Armory though. The smoke is popped, and there's at least some coverage though. A triple kill comes out for Ree, who finds Schwartzy just the deep in Armory, and now not going to go for the beepers and give away his position, but knows one will be on that bomb chassis, knows the other one's going to be directly to his right inside of Fountain, but can't find the gunfight. Does find it through the wall. Fantasy's dealt with Emil though in a 1 versus 1, but can't find the shot. Ree with a 4K wins the round out for the attackers, and IES take that back from underneath.
HP, but not on the player count. The player count, yes. 1 minute 40 on the clock. There comes the first kill from the side of Jobless. Can they get another? I mean, they're just holding their own angles. I do believe there's the nade that comes out, but not
enough time in order to work around 3 players, and well, some of them already low HP, you know, gonna capitalize on this. Panda goes down, but
we gave up on that, at least from the side playing, as Nutra gets aggressive on the side. Look,
they need to do something. They need to start gunning, start finding, but speaking of that, it will be done so by Born as he would take out GT5, but look at this, all across! Still got Jibo out of there, and well, you can't really stop with Scorpion, can ya? Leroy learns it the hard way. As Siemens goes up, but no, catastrophically is offset. And with that, Jibo, 4 kills.
Well, and pushing up this white staircase now. The butt gets to the top there, but the flank could come out as well, and dropped just as soon as they got into the site there. Feature is the one to find that kill on the Nox there, and pushing through from Trophy now. Sneaky and Profit have to get themselves together and keep them below at full time close. Things are falling apart here for the attackers, and Hunters eventually eventually dealt with inside of the bedroom, hopped in the window, not really able to move anything at all. Quick push, quickly, stifle.
Agents are going to be the teachers for today as another one comes in. There's going to be Dins with another frag onto Chep. A 3v5 situation as a refrag comes in, but another one and another one from Django. They just can't stop the roll. They can easily go for the plant, and so they will. He's going to have to do a bit of a flank, and which stairs will he take? Will it be Astro or Red? And it seems like Red will be the choice. I mean, Sledge right now watching a bit of a flank. He actually gets two with a C4. This is possible. This is very much possible. He gets on the peak. He's on the tippy toes. He can be right now.
And now they're just going to wait for these attackers to try to come through the map there. Another engagement is found. Crockle is dealt with at the top of the balcony. And yep, just waiting for the player to come in from Fountain, and now the swing does come through, and the Jaeger is spotted in the corner, so they do have the information of where that player is. Just takes the gunfight though, wins it out. Gecko's dealt with the side of Archives, and now they have the full of Archives to get in and get a plant down if they do want to get that, but still, they have to deal with these players inside of Armory, though the smoke is popped, and there's at least some coverage, though. A triple kill comes out for Ree, who finds Schwartzy just the deep in Armory, and now not going to go for the beepers to give away his position, but knows one will be on that bomb chassis, knows the other one's going to be directly to his right inside of Fountain, but can't find the gunfight. Does find it through the wall. Fantasy's dealt with Emil though in a 1 versus 1, but can't find the shot. Ree with a 4K wins the round out for the attackers, and IES take that back from underneath.
HP, but not on the player count. The player count, yes. 1 minute 40 on the clock. There comes the first kill from the side of Jobless. Can they get another? I mean, they're just holding their own angles. I do believe there's the nade that comes out, but not
enough time in order to work around 3 players, and well, some of them already low HP, you know, gonna capitalize on this. Panda goes down, but
thank God we gave up on that. At least from the side playing, as Nuxos gets aggressive on the side. Look,
they need to do something. They need to start gunning, start finding, but speaking of that, it will be done so by Born as he would take out GT5, but look at this all across! Still got Jibo out of there, and well, you can't really stop with Scorpion, can ya? Leroy learns it the hard way. As Yemins goes up, but no, catastrophically is offset. And with that, Jibo, 4 kills.
Well, and pushing up this white staircase now. The butt gets to the top there, but the flank could come out as well, and drop just as soon as they got into the site there. Feature is able to find that kill on the Nox there, and pushing through from Trophy now. Sneaky and Profit have to get themselves together and keep down the road at the same time. Klaus, and things are falling apart here for the attackers, and Hunters eventually dealt with the site of the bedroom, hopped in the window, not really able to move anything at all. Quick push, quickly, stifle.
You could turn me on and turn me up with your gaze. You could make me feel oh so much with your ways. It's so perfect the way you play me. It's magnetic the way you pull me. You're so perfect and now I need you. You could turn me on and turn me off with your gaze. You can make me feel oh so much with your ways. It's so perfect the way you play me. It's magnetic the way you pull me.
It's us again. We're here, and I've just gone blurry. Awesome. Map 2. It was a thriller of a map 1 area. I think that's fair to say, and we're possibly going to get another 15 rounds of absolute carnage and mayhem. So we head into Bank, the map pick of Feria de Malaga. Chillwagon, they've opted to start us out on the attacking side.
Yeah, starting on the attack for Bank is quite, it's Bank is one of those attacker favorite as well, but so is Border, and we saw how that went. So I would be in on the impression of saying this map can go the same way as, following the trend of Border. I would not be surprised to see this follow the same trend.
Yeah. We have seen Bank a few more times, and it's been fairly 50-50 actually across the entire league, but that's still only 5 plays and only 23 rounds. So, not a lot of things to go on. If it was like Chalet or Villa, we've got a lot more of information, but when it comes down to Bank, we don't necessarily have the most information to go off of here. So take of that what you will. Tends to be about 50-50, and we can see when we get to the bans, they could be banned out again, but this time to knock as well. Wooden again returning.
Yeah, I think the bans are just kind of, they're standard enough bans, and the Warden ban is a little more unusual to say the least. But for Bank, if you want to defend server, banning out that Warden kind of makes a lot of sense, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Personally, I feel that, that kind of ban is a normal one. And then taking out Kate as well, again, quite normal. That's nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing I don't think we should be anyway, precarious of. There's no strange bans. Everything is kind of following its set kind of routine. So, standard.
Yeah, Chillwagon again being the ones to ban Dokkaebi and Warden. It's Feria de Malaga that are actually changing things up when it comes to that operator veto. Chillwagon, they know what they like and they like what they know. They're not going to allow
Defenders, protect
those
your bombs
two
from being
operators
defused by
across
attackers.
the board yet again here. So we can see the very first defense is going to be onto the basement here, Aria.
Yeah, basement, I don't think anyone is going to be surprised to see a basement being pulled out first, as that is quite standard. It's either CEO or the basement as your first objective, as they are the primaries. Again, Bank is one of those maps where there's not really a bad site. Everywhere is somewhat viable to a degree. So, honestly, there's a lot more freedom on Bank than Border. So these teams definitely should be taking full advantage of that.
We're seeing Azami coming through
5
again,
seconds to insertion.
like we saw the absolute chaos onto that first map. Dano bring that along
Attacker's
forever,
objective is to
again
defuse the
returning
bomb.
on the Oryx. Got a Go-Yo and Smoke, standard sort of time-wasting operators on this bomb site specifically. And Zora's actually bringing along a Pulse, which is certainly a strategy I haven't seen for quite a while. There are quite a few months that I've actually seen Pulse actually be played on this basement, but they'll be sort of hiding around server, and then when the attackers start to actually come through, they'll dip themselves back to gold just to provide that information to the attackers, obviously provided they don't get caught out on this more aggressive position.
And actually the Monty being brought out here in play as well, as some shots are going to be fired through the barricades onto Dano, but just not, just kind of enough to scare him back off and just not, get him out of his position, send him back down to the middle floor, but just not enough to kill him off completely. But as you mentioned, that Pulse is something we haven't seen in quite some time, but it is very, very nice to say the least. But so that Grubby is going to get himself up here into the sewers, as his top floor now is under full control of the attackers, and they're going to look to try and get these hatches open very, very shortly.
Yeah, Zora making me a bit nostalgic for the good old days of the siege matter when Bank first or initially came into the rotation. It was quite a while ago now, but it seems the very first execute or the hatch being opened up now, I believe, from the thermite of Dexit. That damage just being used by Zora just to get a lot more information across. Obviously, the Vulcan canisters as well, providing an opportunity for the defense to just stall out this attack for a little bit further. However, the Montaigne of Grubby has been able to step themselves in. Dexit trying to clear that Vulcan canister, not successful as the smokes come through. Zora dips away from giving that intel to take a look up the hatch as well, and indeed just dips back, providing all that information, but also being wary that there's a potential for a vault drop from the main lobby to come through, just to try and get them in the behind. With a minute left to go, Dano's still in this corner as well, and it's going to come down to these final few seconds for this execute to happen.
That C4 is also going to get thrown. It's going to take a lot of damage here off the Grubby and of the Hibana as well. And the headshot's going to be found with the SMG-11 as Hibana is also going to find one of their own back onto Bombi, and now we're in a 4 vs 4 situation as that diffuser is going to get stuck behind the Monty as Dexter is going to fall. As the diffuser gone down, as Monty's also dead as well, but the team killed the smoke canisters, and now we're all left in a 1 vs 3. It's all going to be down here to the gridlock to try and find the final remaining members with 27 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, I actually thought the diffuser got planted there, but Dano just did what was necessary, taking that damage from the smoke. They knew that they were going to get taken down by it, but they took that swing anyway, denied the plant, and made it a successful round for Feria de Malaga. If that plant gets successful, or if that aggression doesn't come through at all, then we're looking at a completely different result here. But as it stands, FDM get that first round on the board.
First round on the board, and a very successful round to say the least. They didn't really show any signs of struggling. Last map, after losing that many rounds, you would think there's a mental disadvantage, coming into map number 2. But that seems to all kind of be left behind, and they don't seem to have any issues. They're not looking, even nervous whatsoever.
Yeah, it's their own map pick as well, so there's going to be that confidence coming back into things as well. As we're going to see a Blackbeard being floated by Jaxi. I don't know whether that will stick. Obviously, we do have the attacker repick, so let's talk about what we do know. Solis and Asami and Valkyrie, all 3 of those, that trident of operators as it's been called, you tend to see 1 or 2 of them be banned out and the other ones played most of the time, but instead it's actually Kaiden Warden that went away, so you do have Asami and Solis inside of this round, 2 very, very powerful defenders, and it's going to make attacking here an absolute hell. So Chillwagon, they need to be prepared to try and deal with the intel coming through from Forever, from the just defensive fortress that Zora is going to be able to create up here on the top floor.
To insertion.
Yeah, as you just mentioned, there's a lot to deal with here if you're on this side of Chillwagon. But then again, you have got Grubby as well on the Iona. Those Iona Geminis can provide a decent chunk of intel for the attackers. And if you've got someone following in behind one of those Geminis, because you're going to have your Solus playing below, that's just kind of a typical position. You're kind of using her as a pulse, essentially. But, it's kind of indirectly using her as a pulse.
Yeah.
And, if you have the Geminis and you have someone trailing a Gemini, this is, it can lead to taking out that Solus pretty early on, which is ideally what they do need.
Yeah, Jaxi's on this Flores as well, who's just going to be providing a little bit of utility clearance, could possibly deal with the barriers of Zora, but instead we're seeing Zora actually just keep building them back up. Still 4 in pocket. I don't think there's one of them that's actually being used, so a little bit curious as to that one, as they seem to be moving around. I just seen a reload on the thing, on the little overlay, so I'm not entirely sure where these barriers are intended to be used. Question marks about that possibly, especially when they've been used to defend positions such as this sort of stock area. Zora's instead just peeking onto the windows, not using any utility whatsoever.
5 Kiba barriers in pocket, not, which is super strange.
That's all of them. None of them have been placed.
Upside down repel because you have potential one tap here, as that player is just pretending to be Spider-Man, just chilling, just hanging upside down there on the skylight, not looking to do anything, as Dano is going to find another one onto TWR, and he just goes insane in the round. Meanwhile, Dexter's also going to take another little shade of damage, not going to be enough to take him down or anything, but just enough to kind of scare him off slightly. But you still have got the members heavily downstairs here, and you're at a major man disadvantage as well. This is not an ideal situation to be in.
Just missed the player downstairs as well. Still might know of that position, is watching it, and indeed does spot out forever. That's going to be the Solus taken down, but there's only 55 seconds left. Bombi taking a chunk of damage as well. It's still a very difficult situation for Chillwagon. They are in this man disadvantage. They don't have much control, and Zora has no here. That is successful. That has been confirmed. Now 4 in the pocket, still with 30 seconds left in the round, and it's going to be a kill onto Jagsy. Still on those upside down repels from the skylights, not successful. The Dexter tries to find some damage onto Rafa, and there's a swing from the utility coming through. It's a 1v4. Malkazai makes it 1v3, but that's all he can go. Zora shuts it down. A peculiar round in the end, but still a successful one. FDM 2-0 up.
2-0 up, and they're looking quite confident. They're not looking, stunted. There's no slowness in the rounds, like the Kiba barriers, and you just Zora getting aggressive. And it looks like a repeat of what we saw from map number 1, where the defense was extremely strong, and then eventually just flipped on its head. So I think, honestly, we're seeing a repeat of order here.
For sure. Obviously, this time, it's not a 1-1 after 2 rounds, so it is
Defenders, protect your bombs from
possibly
being
a
defused
little
by
bit
attackers.
better. I'm reading the all chat. If Zora is actually drunk, that's A, irresponsible, but B, extremely hilarious.
There's no
no
chance. There's no chance for your semi-final that you're going to have a player come into it drunk. That is just not happening. There's no way that the side of FDM.
I mean, to be fair, if they are, then it's working. Maybe it's a super secret method that they don't want you to know. Pro players hate him for this one simple trick.
Yeah, we do not endorse drink or
No, we don't.
drinking going into your games on over here at Talent League. It's not endorsed. Do not follow Zora's tracks. Don't do it. It's very bad.
Like I said.
Yeah. As we say that, though, we're going to get into round number 3 here. As
I'm so
this side.
baffled by the way
What?
Zora's playing as Army. I don't get it.
Honestly, the way Zora is playing his army, he's playing it like he is drunk. So maybe there is some kind of, truth in the myth. But that is, that's only a small detail anyway. It's nothing huge.
Yeah, it's just a lot of utility that the defenders can use. No biggie.
Nothing big, it's only a couple of Kiba barriers. They're nothing. They don't mean anything anyway. They're useless.
Definitely not the reason that Azami's banned out most of the time. Has seen one be used now, so slight success there, but it's being used as and when. Usually people place Kiba barriers like as a preparation. This time it's much more of a reactive style of play that we're seeing from Zora. But it is going to be Grubby who finds a first kill, finds a second as well on the top floor. Forever and Bombi both being taken down. And the vertical from Rafa not quite working there, taking a lot of damage, no damage dealt in return, and suddenly this looks a lot more dangerous. Obviously the tertiary site attackers, you would say, might have a bit of a better chance here, but if you can get 3-0 up, then you are absolutely laughing for the second half of this, second quarter of this game.
It looks like the side, though, of Chillwagon have activated here, though, as another member of the side of FDM has gone down, and that's going to be Zora, and those key barriers are also now gone as well with Zora, seeing as they were not used, and that's the pretty much full side control here, as now we're in a 5 versus 1 situation, and could be a potentially flawless round, and it is indeed a flawless round coming out from FDM, or from the side of Chillwagon, I should say, as they put their first round on the board, and the tertiary site now won in favour of attackers.
Yeah, what a response from Chillwagon. They, well, certainly not too happy about winning those first 2 rounds, and like you mentioned, give a flawless in response to that. So we're going to head back down to the basement. Chillwagon inside of that round played it so very well, and you can see Zora's back on the pulse duties as Army seeded back over to Dano for this basement site. And I wonder whether that'll be a more permanent fix considering the type of thing we've been seeing in those other 2 rounds. It kind of worked out in round number 2, and definitely didn't in round number 3 from Zora. But again, the way that Chillwagon played that, they gained control of the areas of the map perfectly. They took advantage of the weaknesses in the defensive setup. Grubby being able to get themselves inside of Janitor, completely dismantling that top floor hold from Bombi and Forever, and worked out a treat.
It did indeed. But as we say that, we're going to move on to round number 4, completely clean slate as we head down to the basement, if I'm correct. Is that correct? That is correct. We are going to the basement once again. And this round, it was a comfortable round from from FDM the first time off. Whether we'll see a repeat this time, yet to be seen, as the side of Chillwagon surely have came up with some sort of an adaptation. They knew where they went wrong. This might not be as easy for them.
Well, you say it was a comfortable round. It actually relied on a pretty big play from Dano to get those 2 kills, swing into the smoke, act as a martyr inside of that round, getting those 2 kills, but taking that team damage from the smoke canisters and getting taken down themselves from it to really get that a good position, because they had the Montaigne playing an incredibly strong position in front of that planter. It was really, it looked like that plant was going to go down. It looked like it would have been a round for Chillwagon, but heroic from Dano goes the other way. So this time, looking for the same mistake to not be made by Chillwagon, to not allow that sort of play to come through, because it really did open up the round and it allowed Feria de Malaga to get the round win. Otherwise, it would be 2-1 to Chillwagon right now.
Sensor activated.
100%, as we see Dano looking to get aggressive here into the open area, and there's actually going to be a player by the hatch as well, as they've gone for a full extend here, and this could be quite dangerous as drones are going to be, spotting out the players. Those keeper barriers are going to be used, and they are going to be an absolute pain, as a wall has just been built essentially across the side of open area. Nades are going to be thrown as Dano's going to fall, and that's going to be Grubby finding one of his own. But there's still another member there. Actually, no, the goal has actually fallen back down, and now the full top floor controls in favour here on the side of Chillwagon, and this round is looking a lot stronger for them.
Yeah, absolutely. That opening pick onto Dano, not going to be able to find the same heroics as in round number 1. And Grubby now taking this drop down the elevator hatch, taken out Forever, who's having a very slow start after a slow end to map number 1. Still not really able to find their place here inside of the map. Bombi also having a pretty slow start here. 0-2 going to try to take that swing onto Grubby, finds a headshot, and that's going to be at least a little bit of pressure taken off of FDM, but they still need to deal with this push, and that's going to be Rafa, who finds an SMG-11. These small machine pistols from the side of Feria de Malaga absolutely coming alive and being almost clutch in these moments, but it is all down to Zora and Bombi to try and stave off this 3 versus 2 as the plant is getting secured. C4 is going to come out, but it's only Zora left. C4 shot out, plant secured. This round going the way of Chillwagon. They get 2 in a row to tie us up here in round number 4. Bank looking a lot closer than it was just a mere couple rounds ago.
The adaptations were made, adaptations were found, and the side of Chillwagon just knew how to execute that. They didn't make the same mistakes. They didn't allow the same mistakes to happen, and they were able just to kind of keep a curb on the side of FDM pretty much the entire round. They didn't really give themselves any disadvantages whatsoever, and it was just again, and that was a decently comfortable round coming out from the side of Chillwagon, and that's pretty much all we can say about that.
Yeah,
Defenders,
very
protect your bombs
comfortable
from being
indeed.
defused by attackers.
Well, we're going to see the basement yet again from FDM, and almost identical composition to what we saw in that previous round. It's going to be up to the way the defenders play themselves as to whether it will be a similar result. Because, you know, looking at this, it looks pretty similar to the way they played it before, and well, I'm not entirely confident because that first round was won off of a hero play from Dano. That second round, or sorry, round number 4, the second time they played it, was completely
seconds left.
dismantled by the attack of Chillwagon, and it needed some heroics to even get it that close.
5
So
seconds to insertion.
from FDM, I'm looking to this round. If they aren't successful here, then
Attackers are
questions
moving out to
have to be
locate a bomb
raised.
and defuse it.
Yeah, questions do need to be raised if they can't secure this round. Whether they will or not secure the round is yet to be seen, because these last 2 rounds, this side of Chillwagon have just been, you know, Grubby is going absolutely huge. It's all the members are kind of doing their bits. Everyone's kind of doing some sort of work here on the side of Chillwagon. There's not really a standout member. Grubby is getting the frags and, you know, he's getting the opening picks, but they're all kind of pulling their weight here. Everyone's kind of doing their part.
Sure. And the thing is as well, this is kind of what we saw on Border as well. As soon as Grubby was activated, that's when Chillwagon really found their stride, and it's happened a lot quicker here than it did on map number 1. It took until, you know, round 7, round 8 for Grubby to really hit that stride. Now it's round 3, round 4. Feria de Malaga are gonna look a lot more shaky if Grubby's allowed to continue this run of form.
One thing, if you're just kind of relying off Grubby to go huge, as we say that Grubby's going to find one onto Bombi, and you know, if your gameplay revolves off Grubby going huge, it's a very unreliable strategy to be following. But that seems to be what they're following here, and it is working. So why fix something that's not broke at the minute? Hatch gets open though above Grubby, and you know he's going to get pressured just a little, but that's not going to lead to anything. As the nade's going to get thrown, kind of push this player back. Azor is trying to get a little bit aggressive here, as some shots are being taken on top floor, as Grubby finds himself a second, but Grubby's going to get instantly refragged down, as Dexter's also going to find one back on to Dano, and now it's all left down to Forever and Rafa in a 2 versus 4 situation, as it's going to be, that's going to be Forever taken out as he went for a little outside stroll, and now we're left in a 1 versus 4 situation. What has just happened here, Uncooked? As we say, that beautiful headshot onto Dexter, as it's going to be still a 1 versus 3 situation here, as another shot comes out, as it's now down to a 2 versus 1 situation. Those Goyo canisters are going to get popped, and that Goyo canister actually does a decent amount of damage onto Jagsy. Still 1 versus 2, shotgun and SMG in hand. A lot of work here to do, as it's still 45 seconds on the clock. You're on mute, Uncle.
I am muted. Well done me. I'm very smart. Rafa spots out the player yet again. Not able to find the shot though. Forever, I think I said overheated just a little bit. Rafa, what a swing! He's only got 1 left to find the shotgun. Not able to find it, and he collects a 1 versus 4 to keep Feria de Malaga in this map in the lead. Rafa is insane.
An absolute insane clutch. 1 for the books, 100%. One of those that'll be a clip for. That'll definitely be a clip for him anyway.
Oh, for sure.
And that keeps FDM in the running for this matchup. Such a winnable round for the side of Chillwagon, and it just slipped from their fingers.
It just took individual gunfights, 1 versus 1 after 1v1. And Rafa is just a demon. SMG-11 in hand, he can do it all. And that's what he does best. 7 and 2 right now. The saving grace for FDM. And Chillwagon, questions have to be asked about what on earth led to that downfall. You cannot be giving people 1v1 after 1v1 because they'll take that. And they'll just keep taking these 50-50s. And if they keep going in their favor, that's an easy clutch. Pinch them. Find a 2v1 swing that you know cannot be won by the player unless they get incredibly lucky.
10 seconds remaining.
But they don't do that. They back themselves individually, and it leads to the downfall of the entire team. Just so poorly played by Chillwagon, but Rafa, the positioning, the relocations, everything was pinpoint perfect, including the accuracy with the SMG-11. Beautiful clutch.
as we say that, we're going to head up now to the top floor of CEO, where this could either go to a 4-2 split on an attacker side of the map, as we saw happen border, or potentially we could see the 3-3 split, which, you know, I don't think either team would be too upset with a 3-3. But if you're Chillwagon, you are going to be gunning for this 3-3.
You certainly will be. It's obviously it's a defender-sided map, so you want to be getting every advantage you can. But again, we said the attacker-sided map. We saw 14 defensive halves, so this game certainly not providing us anything standard. Zora finds the opening pick, taking down Malkazine. That's Habana gone early yet again. Free defense of this top floor. That's the diffuser surrendered, picked up by Dexter now. But it's not a great start for Chillwagon. FDM do take a bit of damage. That's Rafa on about 10, maybe 15 points of health on the castle, but still alive, still able to have their game up and find picks, which is what is important.
Yeah, that's the main thing. As long as he finds picks, that is what the main key aspect here is. And actually, once you keep barriers used this round, you know, the first round we didn't see keep barriers. Now we are seeing them being actually utilized for a change, which is always nice, as the key barriers are easily the strongest gadget in the game at this very current moment. But this shotgun from Dano sitting close on the door could be a lethal package if anyone is looking to swing into those crosshairs, but don't think that is going to be the case here, as, you know, Jags is going to also fall now to the Solus, as these EMPs are going to get thrown, and it's just going to be a bit of a stalemate here in the lobby.
Yeah, and with Chillwagon on the disadvantaged side of it, Diffuser surrendered yet again as Grubby finds one back but takes it down incredibly low for his troubles. Dexter finds a kill onto Zora through the Kiba barrier, just overheating a tiny bit there on the main stairs. Bombi and Forever yet to find their mark in this game. Have to try and hold off Grubby, have to try and hold off TWR, who have been fragging out, who have been hitting that stride so far. These players now need to get their own across the board as well. There's nothing left. There's no impact left for Forever on the bottom floor. And Dexter gets taken down. Free Fire is not able to collect either. 25 seconds left. Forever does not look favored inside of this round.
It's not looking like an ideal round for him here, as he's in the 1 versus 3. He's getting pushed here from the door. Finds the headshot though onto one, and that's Grubby going to fall. And he's able to get himself up this main stairs potentially, as he doesn't really know where the diffuser is, as these two members now should be playing very, very cautious, holding these, you know, cross angles, which wasn't seen that previous round. And surely it's something they have to learn from. But that's going to be him shut down. And that's going to be a 3-3 split here on the side of Bank, as now we move on to FDM's attacks.
And this is where the onus is going to be, right? We saw them on their attacks on Border. It didn't go well. They only won 2 of them on Border. So heading into Bank, which we said more historically defensive map, that's going to be quite the struggle. Obviously, we saw similar struggles in the previous map from Chillwagon, seeing that it did go to overtime, but this could very easily be a 4-2 attack and half for Chillwagon on a defender-sided map. FDM, maybe losing map 1 has caused them to kind of slow down a little bit. Looking at Bombi 1 and 5, Forever 3 and 5. They've almost died every single round. Dano has died every single round. Whereas you look over at the other side, you can see players that are just confident, hitting their stride, finding picks, and it's not just about that. It's the way they're playing. They're confident in their abilities. Yeah, we saw it not go well in round number 5, but round 6, they didn't waver, and they brought it back. FDM need to find similar success, because you've got your Yana and your Ash being played by the 2 lowest kills in the lobby, if you ignore... Obviously, Malkazine and Jaxi are on the same number, but realistically speaking, lowest kills in the lobby are your 2 entry fraggers. That something needs to change.
It seems like the mental game has really took its toll here on the side of FDM after, you know, losing that many rounds back to back on Border, and what seemed to be what should have been their map win slipped out of their hands. You've got to give the mental game. The mental game is definitely in favor on the side of Chillwagon at the minute, but really it'll only take about 2 or 3 rounds to gain that mental back. This is what that's going to be getting those rounds in the first place is what the struggle is going to be here for the side of FDM. But as I say that, they're already getting, the aggression has been dialed up a little bit here as the player is going to fall down the general hatch and just kind of get himself into a little bit more of a safer position and just not drop the bodies this early on in the round. As I say that, though, it's going to be Grubby falling very early on through a headshot there from Forever. And that's exactly what the side of FDM need here in this situation.
Yeah, absolutely. Grubby, top fragger in the lobby, save for Rafa, who's equaling that kill count. They get taken out here by Forever, who we just said needs to try and find kills and, well, provided possibly the most valuable kill of all. However, it is going to be a kill back the other way as Malphite takes down Forever over on the other side of the map, which brings us back to equal. You can see more just mid-floor pressure coming through. This team gearing up for that execute. Hard breach charges in the back pocket, so Rafa does not need to waste those thermite charges on the hatches. Instead, go for what's important. But Malphite taking out Zora, making it very, very difficult indeed. The Chiba barrier is slightly whiffed by Malphite, but can chuck another one in and still play aggressively inside of CCTV. So we'll start opening. The pressure continuing to rise up to the bomb site. Feria de Malaga need to try and find something here. They need to get a pick because otherwise this just looks almost impossible.
Yeah, it's not looking ideal here now for FDM. As I said, though, the Diffuser is going to go hot on the ground, but those Smoke Babes are going to push that thermite back, and Rafa is forced to go back to the blue door, where he can be a little bit safer. But those Smoke Babes are going to slow them down quite significantly. There's only going to be one left in pocket, though, for this side of TWR. And this is really where the pressure is going to have to start getting mounted, as he's going to take a decent chunk of damage there into red, as the players are just going to be holding these cross angles. That Diffuser is going to look like it's going to get stuck again, as the Smoke Vape is also going to ring, and it's going to take a lot of damage here off the Thermite, as he's now going to be on a shade of HP. This is not looking good here for FDM at all, as that player is just eluding them at the garage door, and they need to get something going here, as there's still only going to be 8 seconds on the clock. Now 3 versus 2, now to make it that 2 versus 2, as Bombi is going to find one on TWR. And now it's looking dreadful here, as the Diffuser is going to get stuck on the ground, as the rush is going to happen here, as a pre-fire with the pistol, not going to quite land the shot, and that's going to be Dexter finding one, looking to drop the hatch to potentially find the second one here, as it's now a 1 versus 1 situation, as 2 players are going to be in a DBNO state, and potentially there might be a res happening here onto the Jaeger, if that is at all possible, and it's going to put them in a lot nicer of a situation, as it's going to be Rafa on a shade of HP to try and clutch this up, as we could potentially see the second dress coming out here in a post-plan situation. But the Diffuser is also going to get defused, as a drop is going to have to happen. Dexter's there to collect, and that's going to be the round take into Chillwagon's pocket. What seemed to be a ropey end to the round.
Rafa got off the plant there, and only just got back on it. I'm pretty sure the toxic babe had already worn off, had started planting, and I don't know, got scared off, I guess. I don't necessarily know, but that's a huge misplay from the side of FDM. That should have realistically been their round, especially with the cover coming through from Bombi on the top floor, but a little bit of indecision, a little bit of insecurity, and it just falls the other way. So heading into this round number 8, they need to get a response to the top floor. Grubby again going to be playing on that Oryx just to provide rotations, provide pressure on all corners of the map. And FDM need to kick into gear, because this
attackers have located a bomb.
Well, I don't want to say it's abysmal, but it's starting to look a little bit woeful as these rounds just keep slipping away from them in those final moments.
Honestly, you're 100% right in saying that. We really need to see the brakes being applied here, and they just need to claw a round or 2 back here in this situation to even give themselves a fighting chance. This is looking, the rounds are, they're only 1 round down at the minute, but things are slipping away from them. The rounds they should be winning in these situations that just have fallen out of their hands.
Looking at it, it could be, 5, maybe even 6-2, or 5-2, 6-1 to Chillwagon right now. And FDM going to be counting their lucky stars. It isn't that way. Obviously, you had an insane clutch coming through from Rafa in round number 5, but he hasn't got a kill since then. And while Forever and Bombi have started to wake up, it's almost too little too late. Obviously, I don't want to be negative all of the time, but it is worrying for FDM in this situation, considering how map number 1 slipped away from them and they weren't really able to fight back from it. The map number 2 looks to be slipping away just at a much earlier point. Overtime might not even be a possibility on this one, Aria.
Yeah, it honestly, as you mentioned, it's a little too late in this situation. As you know, Forever is slightly activating. Same with Bombi, but they're just not putting those kills on the board. As you're letting go, Grubby is not exactly having the biggest of games. He had an amazing, first half on the attack, and he's kind of put the brakes on now a little bit coming down. But still, Forever's after taking a good 60-ish HP damage there. As we said, that Dano's also going to fall to Malkazin. This is not looking good here for the side of FDM at all. Things are kind of looking abysmal, as the refrag is going to be gained, though, as Grubby is also going to fall to Forever. And this is looking a little bit more promising, but still not looking amazing.
So much time being wasted as well. It's only 75 seconds left on the clock, and we're in a 4v4. There's not really much control near the bomb site from FDM. They don't really have much control. They're starting to aggress into square now. They still need to be wary of the sort of players, but the repel, and it's actually going to be another kill coming through from Rafa as well. As Rafa finds another, suddenly it's all falling apart as Chillwagon get completely dismantled on the top floor. We were saying how that was possibly a bad situation, and well, they just shoved it right back in our face. The Spanish team completely dominating. What a round from Feria de Malaga.
What a round. The players finally look activated. This is what we've needed to be seen. This is exactly what we need to see here. As FDM pulling it back, level scoreline once again. But I'm also getting the same feeling as what we had on Border of a full T. We're going to go for a full 15 rounds. It's highly likely. It's highly likely the way these matches are playing now are going to keep us on edge.
Attackers have discovered the location of
I
a bomb.
think I don't know, some cholesterol will spawn in my bloodstream and I just will pass away on stream. I feel like that would happen if it goes to max OT.
I think we need to call you the ambulance instead of me from the last few games. It's an inside. That's a joke at myself from, only the few will realize.
For those of you who don't know, Aria's been in hospital
10 seconds left.
The past month, and one of the casts in the past week and a half, give or take, that I was doing production for, I had to get an ambulance mid-cast or mid-production to. So hopefully that doesn't happen again. But it happened.
Yeah, hopefully. But we'll touch wood. Aria's fine. I'm seeing an Amaru coming through from FDM. That's going to be Dano. Not used any of the Garahuk charges just yet. Was potentially floating the idea that Grubby's playing a Vigilant on the upstairs. It's going to be very difficult, a nuisance almost, to try and weed out because of that Dano. It's not.
That's right, Cloak.
7. There you go. But never mind. The bomb is just going to get the kill anyway, and it doesn't even matter. Was that a wall bang? I guess the drones did come in handy after all.
Is losing that vigil very early on, but to say that's going to be Zora also to be the unfortunate favour of the refrag, as TWR shotgun in hand is going to find one, and now we're back onto the level playing field once again, as a counter through the headholds are going to be done, but it's not going to quite net anyone, as things have just kind of slowed down in pace as the vertical holes are going to get open. C4 has been ripped, but not going to quite do anything, and things have really kind of slowed down now.
Sweeping perimeter.
Yeah, a bit more of a sluggish pace here in the mid-round. There's just intel and utility being taken out and gained all across the map, just forced positions, and really just pressure being applied to the bomb site in small gradual stages. We can see now square starting to be pressured, this vertical as well starting to come through. Dano top square on this Amaru is going to be taking some shots towards tellers, and Well, that isn't necessarily bomb side. It's certainly adjacent. It's certainly a power position for these defenders to hold. However, Malkazine takes a lot of damage inside of Archive. Not going to be able to be killed though by Forever. It's going to go for a second time and indeed does find that kill. Jaxi elsewhere being taken down incredibly low from again a similar sort of angle. 50 seconds left though, this timer starting to tick away for Feria de Malaga, but it doesn't matter if Forever's going to keep fragging out like this. Finds a second inside of the round with just TWL and Dex here. Down Stano, but taken out by Bombi. It's a 1v4, can't get it done. Bombi takes him out again, and it's now 5 rounds to 4. They've reclaimed the lead, they've refound some momentum, they've brought things back, and FDM looking strong on the attack on their own map pick of Bank here, Aria. This game once again heating up.
This game heating up once again. We love to see it. And those key players have finally been activated. That is our key takeaway from this round. They haven't had the best, the defense wasn't the greatest, let's be honest. But these attacks have just hit so hard. And it's just amazing to see, like the player, Forever was going, I think it was, he was one of the lower kill players in the lobby until the split. Now he's 8-6. Same with Bombi, 6-5. Just absolutely going huge.
Bombi was 1-5 at some point, so 5 kills without being taken down. And it's showing. It is showing just how good these players can play. We sort of saw sparks of it on Border, Forever in the first half, Bombi in the second, but now they're activated together, with Rafa still continuing to provide that strong and stable backline, with Zora and Dano as well, also just being very just solid in the backline.
It's definitely a dangerous setup.
When the team is actually firing at all cylinders, you can't really see it much on Border, but Bank is just a different beast.
And especially with that, Grubby seems to have fallen asleep a little bit behind the wheel, as he just hasn't kind of had a kill for probably the last 3 or 4 rounds, which is definitely not the ideal situation when most of your strategy is going off of Grubby going huge.
Yeah.
It's definitely not it's not the best. But then again, there's no players on the side of Chillwagon at the minute that are really kind of standing out, standalone fraggers that had impactful rounds. Whereas, you have Rafa on the side of FDM, who had that 1v4 clutch with the SMG11, absolutely insane, insane stuff. And then you've got, last round Bombi going absolutely huge, and you're Forever going huge as well. Like, it's just moments like this where you've really got to be convinced.
Yeah, and Zora's done a good job there of clearing out the top floor as well. It's a more convincing play from FDM, and now every defender back on the left side. Once they realise this, they're going to be able to get some very, very quick control of the map, and it seems like they're pretty confident with that Gemini replicator clearing across that mid floor from Bombi. Going to make it very easy to now just take control of what they need. They've still got half the round to play to set up for this execute, to make sure that they have what they need before going for the plant, and hopefully this time it doesn't get down to those few seconds, to that 2v2, to the 1 versus 2 that Rafa found themselves in, and instead could be a much more successful round. Grubby, some mid-site rotations just to try to find a bit of a sneakier angle with this proning, and was that an impact? Where was that from?
That was a quite... took out that tin opener? Was it shot off the hatch? The Buck accidentally shot it. That is unfortunate. That is definitely not ideal. C4 is going to get swung, and it is going to find its marker. That's going to be Dano falling. That's going to be your Ying. That's going to be a crucial part of your execute taken off the board. And this definitely could be more of a winnable round here for Chillwagon, but still 40 seconds on the clock. Time is slowly ticking away here from the side of FDM. They need to get a move here.
Yeah, absolutely. They've got to 5 rounds, and it's proving a bit of a difficulty to find that 6th yet again, as Grubby takes down Bombi from that hatch. There's going to be a response though from Zora, taking out Dexit on that Vault hatch, but the 20 seconds, the Vulcan canisters still with fire ticking away at these players. Rafa's just going to hop over, gets taken down. Actually, no, it's the other players. It's Rafa taking out Bombi, but there's no time, and Malkazine finds that kill. We're tied up 5-5 yet again. And we're seeing all 12 of regulation here, Aria. Another overtime, another 15? What
Another
are you saying?
15? Another one.
15?
Another one. We need another one.
Honestly,
That's...
all 45 would just be the treatment that this series deserves. This is the Titan Series Season 3 champions versus second place from Talent League Season 8.
It's a big one. It's a biggie. It's a biggie.
You cannot really write it. It's almost perfect. I believe Chillwagon might have participated in Titan Series Season 3 as well. I'm just going to check that. Top floor.
Top floor, you know, it was kind of a landslide here for the side of, FDM. Previous attack on this side. So we're going to need to see some major changes coming out from the side of Chillwagon if they're looking to try and take this, as it was quite convincing. You know, things weren't on the side of FDM at all, and they somehow came out with the round swinging in a four. You know, they took it almost flawlessly, essentially. So, are we going to see it repeat again? Likely enough. Potentially, we're going to have to see some real counter-strategy coming out here if, the side of Chillwagon trying to take it.
Out to locate a bomb and defuse it.
Absolutely. It's quite a difficult one. Oh. That's unfortunate. Just sometimes those keeper barriers can be a little bit finicky, and TDO has just found that out the hard way. That setup on the top of Banana not going to work out for him. So yeah, coming into this round, I'm liking the Capitao, I'm liking the Capitan, I'm liking the Castle, I'm liking the Bravo as well. A lot of unique sort of picks here. Inside of round number 11, it's going to be picking up a storm.
One thing I'd like to point out though is that Capitao. It's an operator that, in the new kind of meta we don't see very often, but it's just one of those operators that can bring so much to a game. Like he's got the 2 firebolts, you've got 2 smokes, the LMG you can put in a major amount of threats to fire with. There's nothing really at a disadvantage of playing Capitao. He brings so much to the table, but he's just not brought out. As we say that though, it's going to be Grubby finding one onto Forever, as Forever did manage to find one of his own onto Jags before he was taken down. And that is quite unfortunate that one of your key players like that is going to be taken out, but Grubby's going to also find a lot of damage onto himself, as the player on the window repel is just going to be acting like a nuisance. And we're just going to kind of see the round kind of stall out just a little as some damage can be taken. That counter wall is now also going to get breached, those keeper barriers are going to be removed, and that's just going to kind of slow things up just a little bit here.
Grubby though does take down Zora, that's the Brava being taken out, and well, we're seeing a bit of a return to form here from the Castle of Grubby. As, well, obviously playing for Team Secret inside of EUL, very strong player, and we've seen it throughout this series. Dano, suppressive fire, potentially could use that fire to take him out, but no, all of those charges have been used. Bombi now taking damage as well. With 1 minute left on the clock, it's going to be a kill from Dano, taking out Malkazine. Even stinks out here, potentially creates a bit of an opening for the side of FDM, and a lovely shot from Bombi through the bomb site, taking out Grubby. It's now 2 versus 3. Chillwagon on the back foot as FDM look to try and enter this bomb site. Dexter, TWR are these players standing in the way of the Spanish side and that map point opportunity. Their own map pick could possibly go their way, but not if TWR continues this. Taking out Bombi, Rafa now with the flashbang, taking out one, but he's left in a 1 versus 2. TWR took down Bombi, now is only left up against Rafa. 7 kills, 12 kills for Rafa though, looking to make it 13. Diffuser surrendered in the middle of the bomb site, and it's the 9x19 to win it out. Chillwagon, map point, their opponent's map pick, and that's more importantly series point. Just one more round, this round number 12 going their way, and they've booked their ticket to Saturday's grand final, and they will send Feria de Malaga to that lower bracket game tomorrow, that 3rd place matchup. It's all to play for here. So we head to staff room, open area, Chillwagon. Gotta find this defense here, and that worry that we mentioned at the half, the 3-3, could come back to bite Feria de Malaga in the behind.
100%. As if they managed to get this 4-2 split, we would not be in the same position where we are now. And ideally, this Chillwagon, a round that shouldn't have been won by them. That round was so much in favour of FDM, and they somehow from the brink pulled it back. And the clutch there coming out as well. just to kind of slow off the round. It would have been insane if Rafa had managed to get that clutch off. That would have been another 1vx under the belt for the same map.
Yeah.
But it is unfortunate he didn't manage to get that. But the pressure is on for FDM now. They cannot make a mistake here. They physically cannot make a mistake here unless, if they do, that's it. The side of Chillwagon will, capitalize on that, and they will take this map. That's what, that's the stakes for this.
Locate a bomb and defuse it.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's a worrying situation. We mentioned the statistics, and obviously, the game isn't played on statistics on paper, but it's played in the actual server. But this half is following that trend. It needs to be Feria de Malaga that finds something. While they might not be able to, we've seen Grubby potentially slowed down a little bit in the second half, but still firing, still getting impactful kills. Now that TWR is going up to match that, Dexter as well, Malkazine's been providing consistent support throughout the game as well. FDM looking towards Forever, who's had a few slow rounds, looking towards Bombi, who's had a few slow rounds. It's really only Rafa that's still keeping them in this. Without that 1v4, this map's over. It's the rest of them need to step up in a big way in this round for me to think that they have a chance here. If it's Rafa popping off again, I think Chillwagon take it in overtime.
100%. But when you're relying on one player to make the moves, it's not ideal. As we say, that Forever is also going to take about 55-ish HP, and that's going to put himself onto a low amount. And it's going to take really 1 or 2 shots, and he is going to be taken down. As we say that, though, Azor is also going to fall to TWR with a C4, and now the man count is going to be at the disadvantage here for FDM. And we're still a minute on the clock. This is not ideal for them. Things are looking quite abysmal.
Vertical happened to be opened up with the frag grenades, but the buck went down there. Yeah, Valkyrie camera shot out by the IQ of Forever. Now, this vertical can start to be challenged by Grubby and the rest of the players. Obviously, though, that's in Tellers and Archives. That's not even on the bomb side itself. So this defensive hold is looking fairly strong. However, Bombi does take down Malkazine. TWR spotted out as well. SMG-11 though, not quite able to hit the shot. Shotgun comes down. Bombi tries to go for the drop shot. It doesn't work out. Forever though, on the entry, on the hatch even, finds one. Grubby fights back yet again. Rafa trying to find one, and indeed does, continuing to drag FDM, kicking and streaming towards that overtime. 2 versus 2, 30 seconds left. They need to clear Jagsy before going for this hatch drop, because he has the perfect line of sight. Dex here as well is going to have eyes on this position. However, Rafa inside of Archives could potentially be the spoiler that they need. He's instead rotated back around to square to be joined by Forever on the drop. Where are they going to go with the proxim alarm being triggered? 15 seconds. Flashbang bounces the wrong way, and Forever gets felled. It's Rafa to try and save the team, and he can't do it. He gets none in the round, and that's going to be the game falling out of favor. Chillwagon 2-0 as FDM yet again cannot get the game across the line. They found 5 rounds first in both of these maps, and they weren't able to win it. Chillwagon show that resolve. They find the crucial picks, the crucial rounds, and more importantly, they're through to the grand finals.
Through, and they are going to be playing Goldinis on Saturday for the grand finals of the Champion Series. It's been a fun one. I had the pleasure of casting the Goldinis game yesterday, which was an absolute stormer of a match. To anyone who didn't watch that, Goldinis did win 2 maps to 1, and it was an insane matchup. It was, a complete overturn, and it was, the underdogs. They won that one, and now today we have, it wasn't as such, it was kind of who was expected to win did win, but it was such a close matchup. Game 1, we saw, I think it was the full 15 rounds, and this matchup went to the full 12 rounds of regulation. This was it's a tight matchup, to say the least. I know FDM didn't walk away with the matchup, and they didn't walk away with the win, but they still put up an absolute insane fight, and they kicked and screamed every last round.
Yeah, we said it was going to be a matchup of 2 of the biggest teams here inside of Talent League, and well, they certainly delivered. 8-7, 7-5. That is if we just look at the 30 rounds, 27 out of 30 possible rounds over 2 maps that actually got played there. An insane number of rounds, an insane just game in general. And you've got to hand it to players like Rafa, who try as he might, just could not get things over the line in so many 1vx's, and that 1v4 was just
Crispy.
spectacular.
That 1v4 had us on the edge of our seat, and I don't think anyone expected that 1v4 to
Truly
actually
wild.
go off and work, but it did, and it was something else to say the least. I don't think anyone's going to be disappointed with the matchups that we've seen today.
No, absolutely not. It's been a hell of a ride, but Chillwagon have the chance to try and find the title that was denied from them in the last season by Kyudo. This time, they're not in sight. It's Goldinis who they're going to face on Saturday. But before that, the third place matchup, Illes Academia Spirit versus Feria de Malaga for fighting for that bronze medal place, which is also a wild game. It's going to be an absolute nail biter considering how these last 2 semi-finals went. You don't want to miss out on tomorrow's game, and you certainly don't want to miss out on the grand finals, that's for sure.
100%, and you will be seeing myself and Uncooked for the finals as analysts. As far as I know, you're coming as an analyst, Uncooked.
Well, I shouldn't be, because I can't.
Oh, you're
do it.
busy. I'll be there
I'm
as an
busy.
analyst
I'm in
anyway.
London.
I'll be there as an analyst. Don't you worry. You'll still see me
Yay.
on Sunday or on Saturday for the finals, and then yeah. So it's gonna be a weekend of finals.
Yeah,
Very fun.
it's been a wild few weeks here heading into this Champions Series, a game every day. And well, at the end of it, a team is going to be coming out victorious with €550 in their back pockets. However, that's all from us today. I've been Uncooked Pasta. I've been joined by Aria, and also we have to mention Trippin, who's been our almost wonderful
Almost.
and spectator. There's been a couple of shaky moments, but overall, pretty good. Pretty good work from everyone all around today, and a pretty good match. Thank you all very much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow for more Talent League action. Season 9 just heating up.